Typical realtor, hey.
I know.
Mine goes onto that night mode or whatever, the moon mode. At, I think 6 p.m.
Do not
stars.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I'm like,
Awesome.
this is my reading, journal, reflection, ice bath.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't notify.
World fuck off time.
I like it. I
World
like it.
fuck off
Yeah,
time.
that's when you're on the realtor side of things.
It's pretty much
it's
impossible.
a pipe dream, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
I guess I'm technically on the realtor side of things, but
Yeah.
But
I
not
find
resident.
more
not
so
much
commercial,
residential, right?
so-
So
Yeah.
it's interesting though. I used to be the guy where, thanks for the water, by the way.
Oh.
I used to be the guy where one of my old mentors and past CEOs, he would phone me at, didn't matter, say like midnight, 1 a.m, and I'd pick up like, hey, how's it going? Let's get this done. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then eventually I realized that you're living according to essentially someone else's life.
Yes.
And eventually you're like, okay, where are my boundaries?
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of spills over where all of a sudden you're like, if you have no boundaries there, all of a sudden I started having no boundaries in like other parts of life, say with diet, exercise, girls, wherever, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not in control.
No, that's a real good
It's
point.
like,
Because
Ignore me.
Yeah, that's essentially like your freedom, man. Right? Like you can actually determine how free you are based on who can have your time and like who can like really get a hold of you and
yeah,
right? So
true. I found that it's like my deepest introspections during that period. So that was right after university.
Mhm.
My deepest introspections always came when we were flying. I think it's because no one can contact you,
Yep.
really. Like unless you're on the Wi-Fi, but
yeah.
or like flying when you're private, then you can just pick up the phone too. But
Yeah.
even those instances, it's nice. It's just tranquility.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
I think as we get into like more of a modern world, the ability to completely disconnect is going to be a luxury.
Oh, that's gonna be. I think that's
See,
like the
I
next
kinda,
oil.
it's funny. I was thinking about the.
Just put my hand
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I forget that we're recording the video, and I'm like, I look haggard. Like, for anyone who's, I don't know if anyone's like watches the video or whatever,
Yeah.
but
No,
I'm like,
we don't do live because
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
yeah.
My coworkers are like, you usually wear a suit. Like, what are you wearing? You're not wearing much at all.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was thinking about that recently with flights, where it's like when they're like Wi-Fi on planes. I'm like, no, I kind of like enjoy just sitting here listening to music. And
Yeah.
like I can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Like there was almost, and then you get caught like when you land and get.
Right.
Yeah, then you get caught up.
Yeah.
Watch one day, planes will be like little meditation rooms or little like mindfulness play.
Yeah, with
something
the
that.
fucking kid next door.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay,
Yeah,
what is
come
it?
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
What, I have some pretty gross stories, but what's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you guys on a plane?
On a plane?
Yeah.
You know, I'm lucky because I don't really have a lot of like outlandish story. Like, there's been some like crying kids where I'm like, God fucking, and like I just turn up my music, but I've never had like an insane story or anything. Honestly,
I got a couple. If
Yeah.
you guys don't have any, I'll share with you.
The only insane stories I can think of are like turbulence. And we were flying down to Mexico, me and some buddies, 5 years ago, and I had sat next to this woman and her daughter. The daughter was probably my age, and the woman was like her mom.
Similar to my story.
Okay, all right, probably not, but so she's like really afraid of flying. The mom is, right, and I was sitting next to her, and I kind of was talking to them about it, and I was joking with my buddies, like when we had landed, going down to Mexico about it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're flying back home, and my other buddy is sitting next to her, and we go through this, probably the worst turbulence I've ever hit. The plane just fucking dropped out of the sky.
Oh,
like it was easily.
Doesn't that feel crazy? And everything lifts up off the floor, and
Yep.
they're like, "We are officially a leaf."
Yeah,
like just
100%.
it goes where it goes.
Yeah, it's like Jesus take the wheel type of thing.
But he's not there.
But anyway, my buddy's not afraid of flying at all, right? So he decides to play it up for this woman, right? So my other buddy's sitting in the row across, and he's like, Cody, like, the plane's not supposed to do that, is it?
Why?
So this woman starts like bawling, man, and like,
dude.
yeah, it was kind of mean of him, to be honest.
Kind of, dude. That's just like, what if she like has intense anxiety? Like,
Yeah.
Or
and
what
like
if
collapses or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
gives her a heart
He's
attack,
playing with
yeah.
a lot of fire,
Yeah.
and it's like bro, I don't know if my value's in line with yours right now. What are you doing to her?
Anyway, that's probably like the most insane story. I'm trying to think of other ones, but I actually punched a woman in the face when I was on a flight once.
Whoa, what? Like, come on.
You heard it here first. Josh hits women.
Yeah, like,
It was totally
Did you guys-
accidental.
Did you see that Disneyland fight?
No. What?
Oh my god. It's one of those ones where, okay, that's bystander effect
Yeah.
in full force. So, I don't know how the topic got here, but here we go. It's in Disneyland, and, okay, like, I don't watch TV, don't watch the news,
Yeah.
right? I don't, like, consume any news, like, any of that stuff.
Google gobble one of us.
Yeah.
So, but in our office, there's a massive TV beside my desk, and it's hard to, like, sometimes, you know, you close one eye so you
Sure.
don't see the, like,
Yeah.
stuff that you're getting inundated with.
Yeah.
But sometimes you see what's on the screen. And what was on the screen was this fight in Disneyland amongst, like, 4 adults just giving her. And you look at it and you just go, like, what is going on here?
You're making me sound fucking terrible in
Yeah.
front of our audience.
Yeah.
By the way,
Well,
I did not fight a woman on
No.
the flight.
Yeah, this is, like, full-blown face
Yeah.
punching.
Yeah, no.
And I
Yeah.
thought, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah.
you're in the land of...
In the land of Disney.
Or whatever it is.
Happiest
Yeah.
place on earth.
Yeah.
That's what. Isn't that what it is?
It is,
Happiness
yeah.
on Earth. Have you guys
Happiest
ever been
place
there?
on
Place
earth.
on earth,
I think
yeah.
that's the slogan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
I've
you
never
guys-
been.
No?
I have, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't remember it, but in pictures it looks amazing.
It's a good
right?
time. It is, yeah.
The amnesia was strong with that one.
Anyway, it was a transatlantic flight. We were going to Europe.
There we go.
I was 15 years old, and it wasn't. I didn't actually punch her in the face. It
So
was
you're a
kinda like-
juvenile.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to jail for that. No, I was kidding.
Do you serve community service?
No.
Okay, it wasn't.
No.
International waters.
Oh.
Yeah, we're over international water. No, I don't even know how that works. But so my brother and I were sitting next to each other, and we were just with some random woman, and I had fallen asleep, and I kind of like stretched while I was sleeping, and apparently just clocked her.
Oh,
I had
okay.
no idea.
I'm like, where's this going, man? I'm like,
Yeah.
I hope this isn't a bad story.
No.
Oh,
it-
just the
it's-
reach
it
and
wa-
punch.
It was not like intentional or anything, but
Oh,
I
okay.
was playing hockey in Europe, and my
Yeah.
one teammate was sitting right behind me. So we get off the flight, and he's like, "Man, you fucking clocked."
No.
I was like, "What?
It's
I didn't
one of
even
those
know,
things where you
dude."
just don't even know.
Yeah,
it.
dude, and he was like, she was like crying and stuff, and I was like, "What?
What?
I must be a really good sleeper, man, if that's like how that happened, because I don't remember it. But
Holy smokes.
yeah, so
What do you guys do for, like, your sleep routine, or do you have one?
sleep routine. I mean, I try to sleep kind of similar hours every
Yeah.
night,
Yeah.
and try to like wake up at around the same time.
I would say that's roughly the same.
Yeah.
Like for me, give or take. And then I don't know. I try to do like. I went full like if you ever seen the Matt Walker, Joe Rogan. He was the sleep doctor guy who came on there.
No.
Oh,
What's that about?
It's really interesting, but the point
I'll send
is
you the
like
episode.
you pretty much need 8 hours, like almost no matter what, and anything less
Yeah.
than 7 is hard on your body long term,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I try to do just the same amount of time and relatively consistent times, but that's not. Yeah, I could probably. I'm pretty good with my morning routine, but my going to bed routine could improve because you know. You get some
that's, like, the
Snapchats
thing.
from some ladies and whatever, and you're like working
Okay.
the phones, and so
I forgot my Snapchat password, and then I've set that. Okay, you can set a time limit on your phone.
Yes.
I set mine to the lowest it can go. It's like 30 seconds or something on social media.
Okay.
And I purposely put, you can put a passcode so you can get around it. I purposely used a number that has no relevance to me.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I typed it in,
69.
yes,
69.
Yeah.
get out of here.
what's my password?
I don't know.
See, I tried doing that to myself, except I kept remembering the password.
Okay, here's the thing though. I knew I was going to remember 'cause
Yeah.
I have a really good memory, so I went, okay. So use this random code, and then random code again, and then when people shout random numbers that you forget things, I did that but to myself, where I'm like 87359, and but now it's so crazy. It's say I just deleted Snapchat,
Yeah.
but every once in a while I just go, okay, I'm gonna try and get in. Here we go. So I download. When I open up the app, I pretty much have 30 seconds, right? So I'm typing in a password, and I'm like, don't get it right. So I exit and go back in, try it again, don't get it right.
Yeah.
And I got in once, and then as it's loading, it's like, okay, time for update. Then all of a sudden, poof, time limit. So I don't even bother at this point.
So
I'm
is that-
just exit?
That's self-inflicted though.
So wait, so is this
I love
is
it.
this the
It's
same
fine.
as screen time, or is it?
Yeah,
That's
that's what I
different.
mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
screen
yeah.
time.
But it's you can do settings in screen time to limit your
Yes.
time on things.
Yeah.
Oh really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think I limited my Instagram time to like 5 minutes or something.
Holy smokes.
But you know what happens is,
Then you pull out the web browser and you're like,
well, no, not even. You just enter your password. 5 more minutes.
Go,
you know,
go
put the fucking 25 cents back into the.
hit the snooze every time.
I was gonna say like this is it's just in my mind they shouldn't have the password option. It should just be a hard cut, because with the password option,
Yeah, you should not.
you're
be-
training yourself to have no discipline.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know
Instead
what?
of just being like, I guess I've too much time. I'm gonna go play outside.
Android doesn't allow you because Android does the same settings. You're not allowed to do it. Yeah.
We need to get some androids.
Yeah.
Nah.
I actually have one. I just
Yeah.
never carry it. But
Then I won't have massive lock into all the Apple products.
I'm almost broken free. But
Yeah.
I'm so close.
You're like, I'm still.
This is
chained.
the last holdout, man. This is the
No.
last thing. Yeah.
They're gonna get you
I don't think they are. dude.
soon.
No, I don't
They're
think
gonna
they
come up with a car and give it to you for free.
I'll be
Yeah.
like, you know what, Steve Jobs, ghost of Steve Jobs.
Thanks for visiting me, but no thank you.
Speaking of this is a good segue.
Mm.
So Amazon announced a partnership with the
Realogy.
yeah,
Real-
which is the parent company.
It's a parent company of several real estate brokerage franchises. So like Century 21, Coldwell Banker, and a few
Sotheby's.
or Sotheby's.
Yeah.
Maybe not Coldwell Banker. Better
Whoa.
Homes and Gardens. There's like 4 or 5, and they own. They're like the parent company.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
So what happens is when you buy a house through one of them and you go through the Amazon portal,
Hmm.
Amazon, depending on your house purchase price, gives you between $1,000 and $5,000 worth of Amazon products and services for your house.
Check. So like what? Free shipping for your entire life?
I'm thinking more like
no, it's actually it does say it on the. Keep talking.
yeah, I'm thinking it's more like home automation stuff. They're trying to get those smart speakers everywhere.
Man, once one of those companies, they already have, or they're already starting to infiltrate the home. But once it's to a point where you can't, say you start developing habits where they're in the home and you
Yeah.
can't live without them,
Okay.
boom, you're locked in that company.
See, that's why I believe that I'm never gonna get into it. Like
Yeah.
I don't believe in the smart speaker thing because I can type faster than 95% of people. So for me, the voice thing is not a
I find for me, I get like texter's thumb, or it's just like the time.
Yeah.
So I just like I do lots of dictation, whether it's drafting emails or.
yeah. You know
I
that
actually do quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Personally.
I find you say
Well-
way less when you
Oh,
start
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
for sure.
All those
Probably a good
transitions,
point,
it's just
but-
massive pauses.
Oh, you probably used fucking Dragon Naturally Speaking back in the day too, or what?
No, I remember people in university having that, and I thought,
Using
they-
what?
Dragon Naturally Speaking. It was dictation software
Yeah,
before there
yeah.
was dictation
But
software.
like for like as a like, all right, professor, go ahead, boop, and
yeah,
then just,
and they would just
oh,
sit
okay.
back and it types the whole class.
Ah,
But then you're like not even
Really?
listening.
that's a
right?
hack.
Like,
I like that.
But then you're
you're
memorizing just words and letters and symbols instead
You're
of
not really engaged
understanding
or anything, right?
principles.
Well, I mean, I would argue a lot of schooling is just memorization anyway, right?
Okay,
yeah.
I think yes and no.
Yeah. Okay.
There's okay. You're like,
Let's
go.
go.
All right,
Yeah.
open this up.
I love how we're getting away from this though. Let's go. Let's take it back to this for a second.
So-
because he's doing some research.
So
On
for currently with your move-in benefit with Realogy, is that how you would say that?
Realogy. I don't know. It's
Realogy.
I might need
Anyways,
a blanket soon.
so
I might
Okay.
feel
Alexa, get him a blanket.
coddle him. His nipples are hard. They are.
So
just for the record.
so you get for a $400 to $699K purchase price, your package value is $2,500.
okay.
So you get $1,000 credit towards your choice of services, including unpacking, cleaning, handyman, carpet cleaning, furniture assembly, and more. You get Amazon smart home products, so you get 2 Echo Spots, 1 Echo Show, don't know what that is, 1 Ring doorbell, 1 Sonos Beam, and 1 Eero Wi-Fi. And then
Whoa.
all products are installed by Amazon, so like you
Effortless.
yeah. And then Amazon Move. So Amazon Move helps customers who are moving by providing convenient access to product services and Amazon programs that make relocating easier. Amazon Move customers receive a coupon for 10% off up to $200 of eligible products shipped and sold by Amazon, yada yada yada. So
Was this a plug?
No.
It's
I was just reading it, so you have
I'm
it
like,
from
wait
the
a
top.
second,
Yeah.
that was
And then,
sneaky if it
so
was.
depending how much it goes up, so 150K to 399K, you get slightly less stuff, and then if your home's over 700 grand, you get 4 Echo Spots, 2 Echo Shows, and a bunch of other crap.
So they can listen to you.
So they
out
like,
the home.
yeah, it's actually quite a bit of smart stuff here.
Wow.
So yeah.
And I'm not amazed by the amount of stuff you're getting or the ease that you get it, but it's like think of what's happening.
Like
there.
how aggressively they're
losing money on that.
Yeah, but they don't care.
They're
The long
intruding,
tail's
and
massive.
it's to get into every home.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, you don't want a smart speaker? Well, too fucking
It's coming
bad.
with the house.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
be like, give me $5,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like,
So-
Whoa.
Yeah.
but it's kind of trippy looking at it because
It's a good strategy.
it is. And then if you
It's,
look at it, it's actually like within Amazon.com. So like you'll be like I guess shopping for homes on Amazon, right? So
I don't know if that's where they're going with it, because then you're going to compete directly with
Like the Zillows.
Zillow and
Zillow.
Redfin. And
well, yeah, it's but I mean they probably want to take some share
yeah,
in
I don't
that
know.
space anyways,
Cool.
right? So
One thing I was thinking about is how big is Amazon like in Europe?
No,
I have no
clue.
idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking that exactly what we were talking about is that's essentially just a way to get their products into your house.
Yeah.
And they've actually made some deals with home builders in the States to install that stuff on every single new build.
Yeah, they'll just give it to them pro bono.
Right. So
Holy smokes.
if you're
And-
buying a house, you get this stuff free of charge, but it's pre-installed.
And you know as well as I do that people will go with this because it's so easy. It's effortless. They just go,
That's-
wait,
that's
all you
the
do is
only way they would
you
have
just
made
go
it effective.
click, click, and they'll install all this convenient stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then they don't realize how much data they're giving to them and how
Yeah.
and there's like in my mind there's two arguments. Some people are like, oh no, I don't want any of my data out there, I don't want them listening, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
And then there's the other side of the coin where you go like, yeah, your life actually does get easier.
Mhm.
Right? There's
Yeah.
research out there that shows that women over the last decade have been having fewer kids, are working more. So you would think, okay, what is that effect on their time? But research shows that they're spending more time with their kids than ever. And you go, right? And you go, it's just crazy, right?
Huh.
Like they're spending a lot more time, and it's because of things like this.
Automation.
You know,
yeah.
instead of like instead of I don't know, instead of being around your kids all the time, or I don't know, I'm going in circles here.
Mhm.
But yeah, it comes down to, like you said, like automation, all the convenience goods. Instead of being in the kitchen cooking and the kids playing outside, it's like you're just ordering food,
Mhm.
blah 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 blah. Where it's just freeing up so much time, right?
But you're also allowing externalities
Yeah.
to pretty much control
Yeah.
every aspect of your life at that point too.
That's the other one too.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder like how far removed you're gonna start being from yourself.
Well, it's gonna be like
At that
Wall-E,
point.
man, and everybody's sitting there fucking recliners
You know,
with their
iPad in front of them. Yeah.
soda cans and just watching the screen right in front of them. And
Like, can you
I don't
imagine? We'll get to the point where we'll have bungalows where we stand up, our hoverboard gets summoned, and then it automates. It just brings us to the front door. The door opens by itself, and then we go into our automated car, and it drives us to somewhere, and then we sit there and enjoy whatever we're enjoying.
How
And
much,
It's like you don't even have to like think. You just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
it's
just hop
interesting.
from machine to
Like
machine.
where
It just
where is
brings you
it?
there.
Like where is the intersect of like usefulness versus like detrimental? I guess right
100%.
because it's like
Yeah.
in theory having like a virtual assistant kind of following you around, whatever, would be nice to be like, which you sort of do with
yeah,
Your
like
phone.
Siri, arguably,
Yeah.
but
to a point.
to a point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to a degree where it would be like, well, automating a lot of your day, or where like, shit, I'm out of salt or whatever,
Yeah.
and then it just orders it for you, right?
And you
So-
gotta wonder too, like, once you do have things, say like Siri,
Mhm.
and you go, oh, but it reminds me of all these things, and
Yeah.
it does all this stuff. Like, what if, because of the convenience, or because of this, you started using it more, so you thought, oh, now that I have this, do you know what I'm saying? Like, before...
like you start using your brain less, kind of thing. Is that
that's
what you're
100%.
saying?
It's
Like,
stuff atrophies.
Well,
I
yeah,
never
that
noticed.
too.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
atrophies for sure.
But I'm saying, see, like you, for example, like how did you normally shop in the past? You'd probably just write things on a list over and over and over, and eventually you had this list on your fridge, and then when you went to shop, you just rip it off the fridge and go to the store.
Yeah.
And now you're like, say you didn't grow up with that, or you didn't realize that that's an option for whatever reason. So now every time you think of like, oh, I need broccoli, you go like, hey Siri, I hope it was in queue.
Exactly.
You know, you just ask the machine,
Yeah.
hey, remind me to get broccoli when I get home. And then you drive a bit further, and then at work a thought comes up. You go, hey, remind me to do that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then you think and you tell other people, oh, you know, this virtual assistant's so useful because every time I think of whatever on my grocery list, I can just tell the machine and it remembers. But it's like, is it actually making your life simpler? Or, you know, because the list version, maybe the list version actually took less time out of your day and actually took less brain power. And, you know, and then now, maybe, I don't know.
So, like, you would sit down before the store, write down whatever items,
Yeah,
and then
or
when you
like-
get home, you're like, shit, well, I guess I wait till next week to eat
Right.
tomatoes
Life is simple.
or whatever, right?
That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
all these convenience items, maybe because we're using them, we then think that they're useful to us, right? Same.
Yeah.
That
It's like
kind
a
of
chicken or
situation.
egg problem.
Right.
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Is this convenient, or is it convenient because I use it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, how much tech
Yeah.
is
What,
like that.
actual times?
I would argue a lot of tech is making problems to solve with tech.
Dude, like, okay, Peloton, good on them for selling so many damn exercise bikes.
Yeah.
But really, they're like the rage where everyone's going, oh, it feels like you're outside. Like, or, you
Or
know,
you could go
How
outside.
about
or it has
you go
just go outside. Like, it's so simple.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
in your house
Yeah.
or
Yeah, yeah.
wherever.
Yeah.
And I understand, I don't know, you can make up all the excuses in the world, but I'm pretty sure outside is pretty close to wherever you are.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're in the Pentagon, because it's
Unless
pretty
you're
far.
locked in a prison somewhere or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But you probably don't have Peloton virtual reality bikes. too.
Probably not, but there's a huge fucking tweet thread, and it was just making fun of Peloton commercials because it was
Why?
like
It
I
would
haven't
literally
seen
be the like bike outside.
Why?
like a
Come
shot of it. I don't know.
well, they
It's
were
funny.
they were making fun. It was like, yeah, I ride my Peloton in my $10 million penthouse in the middle of New York City, and then there's another one. It was like, I ride my Peloton in my like rock garden, like. Yeah, it was just.
Why?
I'll find that thread for you
There-
and I'll send it to you.
I mean, it's
there's some
maybe
pretty fucking
it's-
funny stuff.
It's in theory decent marketing, right? Just for like looking good and stuff. But like,
That is your target demographic.
yeah,
by the way.
oh for sure.
Dude,
but then
but think
like,
of it.
just-
It's
just so
looking good to
ridiculous,
who?
right? So,
Or to
yeah,
what?
yeah.
It's like, it's totally just... You got to give it to them, though. The exercise bike, I mean... How old... When do you think the first exercise bike was invented?
Probably the 60s or something
Oh,
like that. Or probably way before that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
since there was probably... I don't know.
I don't know, bikes. This is
Picture radio.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
since
yeah,
that was
yeah.
invented.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. And Peloton somehow just reinvented
So they've really,
it.
yeah,
quasi.
it's really interesting, right? So,
I always go back to Juicero.
To what, sorry?
Juicero, do you know what that is?
No.
Juicero was a Silicon Valley funded juicer.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, is that the thing with the bags?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had to use the Juicero bags.
Brilliant.
With the proprietary
Juice.
Juicero squeezer,
Yeah. But they found out that you could simply squeeze the bag with your hand.
and then
And also, like, the bags went bad within like 3 to 5 days or something.
Come on.
So you had to continually
Continuously.
purchase more.
Okay, you gotta wonder if that was intent or if that was
yeah.
the result.
They
Yeah. See, a lot of people said it was like a case because that was when Silicon Valley was like running away with like
Anything.
investment.
everything as a startup for
Yeah.
like we're gonna revolutionize cucumber farming or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
Cucumber mining.
yeah, exactly.
100%,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like it was something where it was like a non-problem to a non-solution and like dressed up so fancy and like
Wow.
did they even like have? I think they had an IPO or something.
No, they got
Or
funding
no,
from Google
they-
though.
Oh yeah, they had a like
Google
seed
funded
round-
some
funding rounds.
I,
or
I don't.
whatever.
I don't
But
want to
it
say the amount, but I want to
But
say it was a lot of money.
It was such a simple like
Squish.
lever squish motion that it was like
It was a Wi-Fi connected fucking juicer.
Get some. Why did it have internet? Hey, there's probably reasons. I don't
They want to
understand
put
right
Wi-Fi in fucking everything, right? And
Yeah.
you got to be like, do I need that Do I need that?
Okay, actually, I was looking at it was Tim. I don't know why I'm OCD and like all in about sleep hacking right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like my current obsession topic, besides breaking my bike record to work. But it gets like dangerous, like especially on the bike topic. The earlier you go in the morning, the cooler it is.
Right.
So you don't heat up as much when you're like all out sprint the entire way, right? So I'm like, awesome. So I keep going earlier and earlier. The downside is the fastest route is through the forest. And in the forest, there's like lots of moisture. So if it's really early, lots of moisture, and it's cool, that path gets slick. And because I'm trying to go faster and faster and faster every day, it's like every corner becomes so sketchy where I can feel my tires sliding, and I'm like, must smash record.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
Yeah. So one day you're gonna.
Do you have like a shower at work and stuff, or like
Yeah.
do you just show up like, morning guys?
He wears
Just
his suit.
pouring like this,
wears his
like
suit,
this.
Yeah. Wears his suit biking.
Yeah.
Just no, I'd have
Has
honestly.
mud all over it.
Yeah.
So anyway, last quarter's numbers
They're
were
like, "Are you okay, sir?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Anyway, sleep hacking though. Talk about
yeah,
that
we
for a bit.
kind of.
Oh, yeah, the
I think
bed.
both of us are
You started
interested
on
on
that.
before we get
Yeah.
off the bike topic, the fastest suit I wear biking is honestly like I hike up these shorts as high as I can go, and then just no shirt because it's way too much. Clothes have so much resistance; it's insane. Like,
God.
You're trying to play it up for a female demographic, but there's maybe one girl that watches this show. Sorry to tell you.
I'm not. I'm like, this is the truth.
Yeah, mom.
I feel like a swimmer. I sort of got. I'm like, should I shave my whole body?
Do it, bro. See what happens. Do the statistical analysis. And see
I
what
have
happens.
enough data right now where it's like, I just go, okay, what if I have butter coffee in the morning and I go, okay, I have a ton of, it's like usually 2 butter coffees and they have 2 tablespoons each. So like, quarter cup of the butter before I start my bike ride.
Yeah.
And you're just over there laughing like, what the hell?
I've heard of that. I've never really had. I don't think I've ever had.
So
that
you've been
before,
reading
but-
a lot of fucking Dave Asprey, a lot of Tim Ferriss.
Dude, I've been butter coffeeing since like 2011.
Have you?
Or sorry, 2013 when it was invented by, what's his name?
Bulletproof guy?
Yeah.
That's
I think
Dave
it was like
Asprey.
early 2013.
That's
when he-
Dave Asprey. I'm reading one of his books right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder if it's like,
Is that the guy who came up with the butter coffee?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Bulletproof. The
Oh, that guy.
Bulletproof
Okay.
brand.
with
Yeah.
his coffee beans. Have you seen how expensive his coffee beans are?
See, that's where he
I'm
gets
pretty
you.
sure they are pretty
What?
expensive.
Yeah, he's like, this coffee, bulletproof coffee, will not work unless it's my beans.
Yeah,
We're
suck
like,
a cock, bro.
come on, man. Like, there's no way. I'm like, if I don't have butter in my coffee, it's like just great tasting bean juice and it's cool. But you put butter in there and it's like, it's the difference between like perking you up versus like, who's the Australian guy that would like punch alligators and
Steve Irwin.
No, Crocodile Dundee.
yeah, you know what I mean, like, or not punching, wrestling alligators and
Oh, Steve Irwin was wrestling.
yeah, that was like that's the difference between butter coffee and just normal coffee. Anyway, I'm like just super plugging butter coffee.
Well, there's really nothing to sell there, so thanks for giving us that affiliate link, bro.
What was the name of the brand?
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's also Black Rifle, which is like this.
Yep.
I don't know. I mixed those 2 names. up.
That's a veteran-owned business or something.
Yes.
but
Yes.
Yeah.
I was saying to a friend of mine the other day, I'm like, I should start up a butter like brand that's specifically formulated for different kinds of coffee. Because it's to a point where I go to coffee shops and I ask them if they have butter and they look at me crazy and I spend the next 2 minutes explaining like which butters to use in which coffee types and which was the best and what, like how to mix it properly, and eventually they're like writing things down.
So do you use
And
a
then-
blender, or
No, you're like, all right, let's get
that's
into
how you're
this.
that's how you're supposed to do it?
So it's
at
like it
least.
just separates after a while.
Yeah, it does.
So I think the key is like, sure, for me, I used to do the blending thing, but it just shoots everywhere and
Okay.
it becomes a mess. You just
You
make
need
more
a better
dishes.
blender, but
They do have lids, for those things.
What's that?
They have lids for those.
No time. This
I have
this
no
guy.
time for a blender lid. Yeah.
No time for blending. It's like put it in the coffee, give her a quick mix, and while it's still like, I don't know, it's like suspended in the coffee instead of
Yeah.
right on the surface.
Yep.
Just pound it back. It's sure it'll be hot, but whatever. You're about to just rip apart the world, so
Yeah.
like take it hot. And it cools it down enough with the butter.
Yeah, fair enough. We're gonna
Go ahead.
okay, now that we got Phil all nice and swaddled up here.
So it happens when you're trying to hit lean goals.
Lean goal.
I have zero insulation left. It's terrible. Hey, I never get hot when I sleep, though.
Yeah.
Going back to the butter coffee thing, you're like me. Caffeine hits you like a motherfucker, right?
Yeah, it's aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, if it's... Well, like, caffeine has, say, like, a half-life of, what, 6 hours?
I think so, yeah.
I swear it's, like, 25, 24 hours for me. Like, it isn't actually.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't think that's how science works.
Yeah,
but...
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I'd say my limit is always 2 p.m. is, like, high risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got to be
definitely.
100 milligrams or less. But
Yeah.
if it's a normal coffee, it's usually 11 a.m. That's cutting it. Or else I can't fall asleep.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Actually, the same with me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I started putting matcha in my shakes though that I have at like around 2 o'clock, and that'll get me through the rest of the day. But
Holy smokes.
yeah,
I find, like, I upped my water game probably 4 or 5-fold. And it's done a tremendous amount to, say, like, energy levels, body composition, sleep. I feel younger, look older. I mean, more handsome.
How much water? Because you actually told me one day and I didn't believe you. But
No, straight up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to drink a gallon of water a day. So I converted it from gallons to liters. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's about 6 bottles of, it's like 21 ounces or whatever. So
yeah, a gallon is 4 liters, I think, right?
give or take.
A
Approximately.
gallon of milk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember
okay.
the GOMAD diet?
yeah. We talked about
We
that.
talked about
yesterday.
this
Yeah.
last night. Yeah.
Like, worst, remember, like, old
Such
school
bad advice.
bodybuilding is
Yeah.
ridiculous. So, like,
Yeah.
how to get jacked.
That's
You
starting
drink-
strength.
Like, here you go, and you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
calm down.
Fuck you guys! I'm drinking a gallon of milk a day. I don't know
Yeah,
shit.
I drink it in one big swing.
Exactly.
I just go home and crush a gallon.
Can't wait.
One sip.
I remember there was some bodybuilder on like bodybuilding.com forums way back in the day. He was like, I was doing the GOMAD, but he was a security officer, so he had to sit and watch screens for like 18 hours or something, right? So he would drink the bottle of milk at work,
Yeah.
and then he would just piss right back in the bottle.
No!
'cause so much
Come
milk.
on!
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
This
Not
is
good,
a,
not good.
like, very tight segue into eating competition topics. But what were we saying just before this? Caffeine.
Caffeine,
Butter coffee.
butter coffee.
Go mad. What were we saying before go mad?
We were talking about something.
That's what happens when you get 3 dudes
I
in
know.
an extremely cold
And we're
studio.
all ADD.
Yeah, I know. We're like,
So,
exactly.
So we're all
Yeah.
like all over the place. So
you know when it's like the Star Wars scenes where there's just the laser shots, like pew pew in all
Yeah, yeah.
directions.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
like
right.
us, like
That's like
ADD people in one room.
that's a
Like,
good point.
Just gunshots. all
There's something I
directions.
was listening to the other day about ADD, and they think it's far more prevalent than they have let on. They think that over 50% of the population has it, but that it's actually a good thing because you focus on the things that actually interest you, and the things that don't interest you, you just don't give a fuck about. And if that's the definition of what ADD is, I have it to the nth degree.
Well, it's something that, like, see, it's interesting because I recall, like, the rate of ADD has gone up significantly, but then if you look at what the DSM, it says, like, this percent of the population has it, but it's a range of, like, 4 to 16% or something like that, so, like, it's kind of one that's hard to define, right? And then some people argue that, like, the increasing rate is just due to undisciplined kids sort of thing, too, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Say your piece because I have a take on it,
Yeah.
but
Nah, no comment.
No comment?
Yeah,
I
I know.
think
I'm
it
like,
would be,
I
like,
don't know,
more
'cause
so-
I don't know. I'm not an expert in the topic,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like, know it in
neither
depth.
neither am I.
No.
But I'm just saying
I'm
that-
someone who thinks that, like, the formal education system, like, does not work in, like, elementary school and stuff. Does not. It's not tailored to, like, any kind of creative thinking. Like, it's very structured and stuff, and it is actually designed around, like, it's like a Prussian system to teach obedience and submission
For
to
sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Yeah, so-
realistically, we need
Yeah.
our society and the way it works. It's like we need a lot of people that to just do jobs at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? It's like, but if everyone was super creative, making their own thing, etc., it's like, yeah, then the machine wouldn't work, right? Because it is what it is.
Yeah.
I also think that people learn differently too, though,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
if you're
exactly,
teaching in
yeah.
a classroom setting and Johnny's not getting it because he learns by doing instead of watching a teacher speak,
Yeah.
is Johnny dumber than everybody else? No.
No.
Right?
Well,
he just learns
that's kind of where I'm
differently.
going. Is it's not malleable, and then people who don't fit in that system are kind of slapped with ADD sort of thing. Right? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. I don't think you should be giving drugs to kids at
No.
4 years old to try and sedate them so they can.
I'm surprised. Like, it's interesting how you look at specifically the U.S. banking system. You have, okay, let's say they got. How would you say this? So, the banks in 2008, they obviously got bailed out, right? And everyone complained about it in the U.S. I'm unsure about Canada. I'm assuming so as well, right? And it's like, oh, okay, how is it that, they can take on all the risk, but they don't have any of the consequence? That was like the common kind of theme that people thought.
All the upside, no downside.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, isn't the same kind of thing true with schools? If you think about it, it's like students come in, you have 100% of the risk because you take on this loan or not loan. You're taking time out of your life.
Yeah.
It's some sort of dollar value can be attached to that, time or dollars in youth or whatever.
Yeah.
And the school takes on none of the risk. It's like very similar thing. But in one case, in banking, everyone's like, oh, the criminals, blah, blah, blah. There's such a one-sided deal.
Yeah.
And then you look at the school system and people go, oh, like, let's toss more money towards this. And you think like, whoa. But I get it. It's like, that's very surface level comparison. But like to open up an argument, and I understand it's like, yes, but like a more educated country, we'll say, or like populace, it'll make us just better as a whole, right? And some schools, and that's only some, right? You look at a lot of schools that are case-based, those are changing. It's not just like memorizing facts and regurgitating them later in life, or like a very hard or technical skill.
Yep.
It's like you're changing the way that people think, and you're changing the way, or like really pulling out the leadership potential in people. And those are the people that go on to do massive changes in our societies. So I'm like, just open up the argument.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. I just feel that like education and a formal setting don't have to be so, like, they're linked in our society, and that's how we think of education and school are the same thing. Whereas, I mean, there's self-education going beyond, like, if you're interested in something, there exists this vast library of information called the internet if you wanted to learn something.
Don't you wish you would have, like, I don't know about you guys, but I found that, like, I look at some people who say are my colleagues or people that I've met in business or whatever, and the lessons that they teach their kids, like, and these are mostly wealthy people or people that are fairly successful in their field.
Yeah.
The lessons that they teach their kids are incredible, and it's stuff that for me at least, I wasn't exposed to that until I was, say, in my early 20s, where I'm like, whoa, this is how the world actually works. And I wish those are the things that you were taught in school,
like in like grades 1 through 12 type of thing. Okay.
Where it's like,
What sort of things?
Oh, I'm like, where do I even start?
Yeah.
I don't know. Basic finance.
Right.
Here's how to budget. Here's how to be disciplined about your budget. Here's how to take a product. Here, go try and sell it to the world, and you'll see that you just get stomped on.
Yeah.
Or hey, here's what, like, doing something because you know it's going to pay dividends in 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Let's say today it has like first order pain, but as second and third order positive benefit.
Yeah.
Say, for example, investing, I don't know, eating healthy foods, all kinds of things that, let's say, when you're older in life, or when you're older, I find you take better care, for me at least, it's like, say, drinking a lot of water, having a healthy diet, all that stuff, you only start doing that, or from what I see from my surroundings, is when you actually need to do it, right? Or when you have a goal attached to it.
Yeah.
But then I look at some either colleagues or people that I've met in business that have kids that are younger, and they're successful, the people that I've met that are successful in their field, and they're teaching their kids these things at a very early age. And it's like, I wonder why we don't push
Yeah.
that harder
Yeah.
in, like, say, elementary, where it's like, or we're more strict about it.
Right.
Or it becomes, like,
Or
fundamental
I would
lessons.
even say where, because like obviously everyone needs a basic level of reading and arithmetic for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it becomes a point where like, yeah, why do you take the same subjects
Yeah.
from junior high through
For 12 years.
Yeah, for 12 years, right? So
Yeah.
that's a really interesting point. Or even the
Like, why are we learning about, like,
yeah.
some random culture in a random country where you're
Yeah.
like, okay, hold up, like, what
Yeah.
can we use this time elsewhere to do something?
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean?
Or
Yeah.
even
Like,
something like where it's like, okay, you have to choose 2 out of 3 physics, chemistry, or biology. It's like, well, what if I want to do 0, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why?
Or do what
So-
Germany does, where they put you into a certain stream in, I think it's grade 9.
Okay,
the last
yeah.
I checked, where, if they look at you and they go, okay, this guy's very strong in math or whatever, he's probably going to be an engineer, or she might be, let's say she might be an electrical engineer, you might be a mechanical engineer, and starting at a young age, they just go, okay, all your courses are that.
Mhm.
Like, you just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even that's like maybe an overcorrection where
You're putting people into
You're-
a box at that point.
from a young age,
you
right?
might be
So,
right.
yeah.
Just, I feel
Like it
that-
should be almost something where like, and obviously I'm just like speaking from what my
life exposure.
my life exposure,
Yeah,
criticisms
that's the
of
point
the
I'm coming from,
system, right?
too.
Yeah.
Like, I might
where
be
it's like
so
maybe
wrong.
like come like let's say like grade 7 or 8, like up to that would be normal, and then
Mhm.
from there on it would almost be like a free time, but you're kind of learning about whatever you want, right?
Mhm.
Like
I was
be
having-
like super independent sort of thing.
Yeah, I was having this conversation with my mom, and you remember like gifted and talented program or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
yeah.
So it was like,
I was in that, and so was Josh, so no big deal. So.
I was far from it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
well,
I
I'm
was
gonna
in
say,
that special reading class.
yeah, I'm gonna say actually 2 things though. Is one, if you start calling kids gifted and talented, what are all the other kids?
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
So that's.
Well, I think they've all
I'm sure they've renamed it something.
renamed
else.
it and then probably
Flex time class or
change
It's-
feel good, happy
Wait,
time.
Yeah.
because the world has become so, like, sensitive on every
Mhm.
subject, what do you think they would actually call
Yeah.
those classes?
Well, even
I
I
don't
feel like when we were in junior high, it was called like accelerated, which was like
yeah.
a step.
You're
down.
elite.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's not quite like gifted and talented, like stamp. You guys are better than the others, but it's still like a little demeaning, I think, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
It's interesting, though, because you're just better than others at whatever topic,
Mhm.
whatever criteria they're using as that measurement standard.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
do like.
Right?
Unfortunately, I think they use like standardized tests, right?
Yeah.
So you do essentially an IQ test at grade 3 and 9 and
Yeah.
see where, or 3, 6, and 9 and see where the kid lies.
I was always in, like, the top percentile across the country in those.
Yeah.
But then marks, I think because I just didn't care about school, period.
Mhm.
It was always just motocross, hockey,
Yeah.
snowboarding,
Yeah. Yeah.
girls, like,
Yeah.
anything that was cool.
yeah, and like understimulated by that structured classroom
Yeah.
too, right? So
Well, I have a question for you.
Mm.
Do you think people get good at things because they're talented or because they actually enjoy them? Because if you, going back to the conversation we were just having of having a choice of what courses to take and stuff, and you choose the things that actually interest you, and you get world class at them because they actually interest you, is that because you were talented or because you actually enjoyed it and you worked hard at it?
Or is it, I don't know. I look at, like, you hear this saying all the time, oh, do what you love and never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder how many people, like, let's say because of their surroundings, let's say their parents were both, I don't know, doctors,
Mm.
and then by default, that's what they were around all the time. That's what they knew. That's how
Yep.
they knew how to act.
That's what they heard talking.
Yeah, they eventually,
around
let's say
them.
they fast forward, they become a doctor,
Yeah.
and let's say they haven't had enough introspection to know if that's actually what they want to do, their passion.
Mhm.
But let's say they just become really good at it. They
Yep.
become a good doctor, a good researcher, good whatever, and then that becomes their thing where they're like, I love this so much.
Mhm.
Because maybe it's because they're more satisfied by, let's say, like winning, or say the accomplishment, or that whole process of going from that kid all the way to becoming a doctor, like how much that changed you in terms of, say, your personality and your tendencies and whatnot. That was so rewarding that they're like, I love what I do.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
What would you say?
It's like the reverse almost.
Yeah.
I would say it's a combination of all of the above. And I think the best thing, like, tidbit of advice was like, yeah, do what you're passionate, blah, 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 about. But then someone kind of said, yeah, but it's very easy to be passionate about something when it's going well, right?
Oh,
that's what I mean.
So
yeah.
you're good at it, you start getting more passionate about it.
So it should be, like, something you're good at.
Yeah.
But then, like, could you become good at anything?
Probably.
At least
you
proficient.
should probably choose something
like, it
that
should
you
be something
by
you,
default...
like, enjoy, but to a degree naturally excel at, because you will probably have more of a talent for that.
I could probably become a fighter pilot or a fighter jet pilot,
yeah.
but I wouldn't fit in the plane. So it would it would be a really big problem.
Like, you know, if I took vocal lessons every day for like the next 15 years, I could become an okay singer, but would that pay off anything?
Maybe.
Highly unlikely, right?
No.
Like, so,
I mean, it would
you
be
know
your personal enjoyment,
Hey,
I suppose.
yeah.
But
unless you like flipped it somehow or used it to your advantage, you're like, I'm the singing realtor, and you just like sang when we did tours,
yeah. But I don't know. I think it's something where like,
I think it's a self-perpetuating cycle, and
it really is.
In the
like,
regard of like,
one could argue that because of your nature and nurture, you might be more interested in these topics, so you generally pull towards these fields and find the one you're good at, and blah blah. But it's all like it kind of.
So maybe in elementary school we should be introducing like a vast amount of options.
Oh, I was just about to say.
Yeah.
So along that line, and like kind of relating back to post-secondary, I firmly believe that universities and colleges should, and whether, you know, I'm probably going to get a ton of backlash for this, is just allow the kids to do way more risky things. Say like, instead of just pretending to start a business, it's like, okay, actually invest in them. Or, you know, in my mind, it's like, you don't have a family, you don't have kids, your housing is totally fine, everything's either on loan or paid for. Realistically, that's the point in your life where you probably have the least amount of risk and the most amount of, like, look at who's around you. It's all young, motivated, smart people, and like tons of profs that have seen lots of stuff, tons of access to people in the industry that have a lot of influence. Like, that's ripe for taking risk, right? And let's say it explodes and it's like, oh no, you know, what are you really losing? Like, you don't have a house, you don't have kids, you don't have all that stuff.
Yeah. Although, I mean, university is also a demographic of 18 to 55, right? So
come on, but it's like this huge spike at 21 kind of thing.
Yeah, but
I would even say to that point, like, in a strategy they could implement tomorrow would be like get rid of electives, sort of thing. Like, I think most, I don't know. I felt like
I'm totally against that, actually.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like
I'm against your opinion, not the electives.
Just
for clarity,
rip the shirt. Let me say this. So
don't do that.
Like a degree should be pretty bare bones for like if you're gonna have a degree in accounting, of like you need your core structured path, but like and then I guess this is I'm about to define electives, but outside of that it should almost be like go do what you want sort of thing. So,
I suppose.
Yeah.
But I would say that electives at least
like
give
technical school.
Yeah.
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 I can see. Yeah, if I mean, in my mind, if you want to go more than just like, let's say you're accountant and then you become like a senior associate and then like we'll call it manager and then senior manager and like let's say a Big Four, for example. Like, when do you need to pull on those soft skills that you learn in, let's say, psych electives? Or like for me, for example, like almost all my electives were in psych, specifically in social psych.
Yeah.
Because I was obsessed with like social dynamics.
Yeah.
And I look at like how that's helped me and that's why I'm biased this way.
Yeah.
It's helped us close a deal that was net over $23 million, based like that's net profit on it, based on different like tics and body language things and like the way that the conversation dynamics were happening. We like knew a weak point. We went like, let's target this guy without revealing too much. It's like we knew to go after one guy specifically because the deal meant more to him than it did to the person who was the actual decision maker. So we started putting more attention into the guy who we knew it meant more to him for various reasons. And he eventually put more influence to the actual decision maker to make the deal close.
Right. Fascinating.
And it's like, I only learned a lot of that stuff because of the electives.
Intriguing. But then, if we could go really meta with it, if you had, like, let's pretend in a scenario where university essentially became technical school, where you only did, like, the core competencies.
Yeah.
Could we not argue that you had that natural
No
interest,
way.
and
No.
you would read books about it? Like,
you're right,
So
'cause I
you
did
would
read-
take a lot of initiative
You're right.
to read about psychology, influence, persuasion, social psych, right?
Yeah, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of the
Right.
things...
So I feel like you can learn a lot about that outside of school too, right?
There's
So-
also, like... And yes, I
Yeah.
still to this day read every morning. It's like I can show you, it's on my home screen, where it's every morning I read about new social psych, specifically like social dynamics, any type of new research that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And... But that only came about...
Because
like...
you had to take the courses.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the saying where they say, you don't know what you don't know. So because I took social psych, I went, hey, this seems cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then that led to that initial exposure, which led to the trigger, which led to the, like, insane depth. Where you just keep going deeper and deeper, and
Mhm.
you apply it
Yeah.
every day, and,
Yeah.
But-
I would argue it's twofold, though. Like, yes, you could have had it based on the courses, but also you could have read
Yeah.
a book on the topic.
Yeah.
For me, for example, computer science, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm fully self-taught programmer, right?
Mhm.
That didn't come about from school. That was
No.
me going down the rabbit hole of
Yeah.
the last
You gotta
half
wonder,
decade.
though, like, how much of that... Like, that's totally serendipity, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how did you know
Mm-hmm.
to start looking into that and start going... You know what I mean? It's like guys
I
who
don't
get
know.
obsessed...
I don't think you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I think-
Well, see, yeah, that's even something for, like, I've like sort of had the thought going, like, even like you and I have this conversation, like going, let's say, more entrepreneurial, right?
Yeah.
After school is like, you can't help but think like, oh man, like I wish I had just started on this when I was 18, but your schooling experience, in
Boom.
theory, put you
I know. I had this
changed
argument...
my mindset,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
experiences, especially, and I would even credit it to going to McEwen over other universities
U of A or whatever.
gave me a little more, like, open, like, just a more open, mindset, I guess, but, like, I didn't know the word mindset at the time, but just
Yeah.
being more open to that, and then those experiences, in theory, push me that way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I was thinking about this today, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, it's weird that literally 10 years ago, I was making more money in the trades than I am today. And you'd probably see it all over social media. They'd be like, oh my god, like, what an idiot. You could have been in the trades and made more money and started
Mhm.
a business and done blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but here's the problem. When I was making that much money, I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't know how to start a business. All I knew what to do is, like,
Yeah.
take expensive flights to Whistler or Bear Mountain and go ride for a weekend and, like, just blow money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'd, like, there's so many... If I knew what I know now,
Mhm.
and I was in that trade scenario, I would never go to school,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, yeah, have
But
fun.
it's impossible and that's
Have
why you
fun,
can't
yeah.
really have regrets, because you're only looking at your past through the lens and knowledge that you currently have.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
you need to know that person was arguably different in that they don't.
Yeah,
have the
that
same-
person would have, like, been
Yeah.
perpetually broke, even though he was
Yeah.
getting paid more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, like, hated life and all kinds of stuff.
I mean, I'm a pretty firm believer that if any person, like, if you could travel back in time and talk to your younger self, or your older version
Or-
self, or an older version of you came to you tomorrow,
Yeah.
you'd be like, fuck that guy. Right?
Very
Like,
true. Yeah.
Oh, I
like,
don't know,
you would-
man. I look at my future
feel like
self-
I feel like you wouldn't, like, listen to them. Maybe, like, if they're like, don't do this or do this or whatever, you'd be like, nah, I'll be different.
Yeah,
like,
but at
that's
the,
Really?
age, at the
that's
age
how
of 20,
men-
though? At
that's
the age
how-
of 20 or like
I
18?
think that's-
18?
I don't
Yeah.
know, right?
That's
See,
not
I
even
think
going
that's
back
how-
to university,
that's-
though.
But I
'Cause-
think that's how men naturally are to
Most,
a degree,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's just kind of human nature to be like,
Yeah.
no, I'll be different, right? So,
Mhm.
like,
I don't know. When I went to university, it was like I visualized myself in 4 years and then 10 years and whatever, and I went like, "This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm gonna be. This is how I'm gonna be seen by the world. This is what I'm gonna be doing." And it is what I'm doing today. Like, almost. It's like
Yeah,
almost there.
Yeah.
Right. But it's in the process kind of thing. But I think that's a bit rare because most people go to university, they have no clue what they want to do.
yeah.
But
Which
Thanks, George.
Which I guess we could bring full circle and say that is that stepping stone that pushes you in whatever direction, right?
Mhm.
Totally.
Yeah. I just personally believe that you should always be seeking. Like, you should always continually be trying to learn about something, regardless of what it is.
I was struggling with this about like 9 months ago or so, where I was pretty much that, like, where it's just words, where I was a strong proponent of like, yeah, you should always be learning, you should always be reading, blah, 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 blah. But I like never actually did it.
Okay.
And it's crazy what happens to you when you actually start doing it every single day. Like, it sounds so basic.
Yeah.
But
so you mean like you were in the mindset to learn, but you weren't actually doing it, or what do you mean?
Say like I'd read.
Yeah.
But I wasn't reading, for example, like I'd read business books, but there's a huge difference between just reading words versus, let's say you start putting notes on the margin, then you start linking those ideas, or you start thinking about like what's the main idea that I'm trying to get across, or the author's trying to get across.
Okay.
And then you start linking that to, say, other ideas or books that you've read in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a business context in your mind, like, say, your current business, and you go, how does this apply to my business? And then, like, how can I, right? And then you start pulling ideas out of that, and then you go, okay, now how can I apply this tomorrow or today? And then, like, building and building and building, and then, you know, a couple of weeks later, you review the book, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because, I used to always just be like, oh, yeah, you should read books all the time. They're amazing. And then I realized, like, I was reading words, but I wasn't, like, communicating thoughts into my brain kind of thing.
Okay.
But major difference. Game changer.
So reading for the sake of reading sort of thing, or...
Yeah.
Is that what...
Versus, like... Because, I don't know.
Well, I think, like, so are you someone who would read, like business books, typically?
100%. That's, like, the only thing.
See, I felt like that's my thing, too, and, like, I've read lots of those, and we've probably read a lot of the same ones, but I always feel like there's a point where it's, like...
They're saying the same thing.
That.
Dude,
and then
start
also,
reading old books.
Yeah, and then they start to repeat, and then also you're like, okay, like, you need to go, like, do them eventually, right? Like,
okay, that was the struggle that I was having big time.
Because you kind of get caught always reading, right?
Reading can be masturbatory. Yes. Essentially, that you're sitting there reading a book, feeling like you're doing something,
but you're not. That's what Instagram is, man.
That's 100% what
Think of it.
Yeah.
You get like a little shot in the arm where every time you see a quote or an inspirational picture or whatever, you're like, oh, this is beneficial to me. And you keep scrolling. But is it really? Like, how many times have you seen a quote on Instagram? And try this next time. Look at a quote and be like, yeah, this is why I'm on Instagram. This is beneficial to my life. And then as soon as you see that quote, put your phone down and try and say the quote out loud. You'll probably not be able to remember it. And that's how little of an impact it actually has on your life.
Right.
But yet you're like, this is good for me. Keep scrolling, right? Like, womp womp.
So you don't read fiction then?
No.
No? Why?
I don't know why.
Like, you don't read, like, the classics? Like...
No.
I'm trying to think.
I think like, the first book I ever read, I was 20 years old.
Okay.
And it was like, okay. I went, how am I gonna business? So I don't know. You just pick up business books, social psych books.
The reason that I ask is because if you read fiction, for example, if you read it for more of the context of what the author was trying to communicate.
Yeah.
For example, character building and stuff. It's their thoughts on and commentary on certain aspects of society and getting into kind of, I mean, I feel like it would play very much into your social dynamics type of thing.
I don't think I'm mature enough where, like, my brain's not mature enough where I'm still in the process of learning, like, say, just not basic, but like, say, business principles and leadership principles and all those things, like, still building and building and building and building.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm at a point yet where maybe I could be wrong, but I feel as if I'm still in that stage where I'm still, like, have so much to learn. You know, like Dunning-Kruger, the big old curve where it goes straight up?
Yeah.
And then when you're at the top, or people that are super confident, they, like, think they know a lot.
Well, it's competence, consciousness of competence and all that.
Yeah, and it's like where the curve, it for people listening, it's like it spikes up really quick, and that's the amount of confidence that you have. Mm-hmm. And then on the...
That's when you first begin.
Yeah,
What's
and you're
the
like...
name of this?
Dunning-Kruger.
The Dunning-Kruger. And then it pretty much...
Dunning-Kruger effect, maybe?
Effect, I think.
So then the curve...
here we go. Okay,
the curve pretty much just plummets thereafter. So it looks like a giant, like...
it's like, I'm a genius. No, I'm not.
Well, then you realize how little you know.
Right.
And then your confidence starts going... Your confidence pretty much hits a rock bottom. That was me, like, 9-12 months ago.
Okay.
Because like coming out of school, it's like, say, you know, I have a laundry list of top 1% achievements, and then so I got out of school like, yeah, I'm the shit, and then you realize how little you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's like the main reason why I don't pick up nonfiction yet.
Yeah.
Because you realize like, oh my gosh, you actually know nothing, and it's just bonkers. You know.
We belong to the school of just fucking do it.
Yeah, for sure. I also think like any true like to be a really smart person, like the smartest people know how much they don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot like it's a big strength to know that there's people out there significantly smarter than you in particularly in specialized fields and stuff. And I think part of that is even like you have to take a step back and acknowledge yourself of like, yeah, like I don't know everything, and that's how you like start to learn, right? Like to be someone who's like, I want to learn more, I'm always learning. You need to kind of have that introspection and like acknowledge like I'm not the greatest who has ever set foot on the face of the earth. And
fuck, dude, like,
but I feel like most people don't.
If you have that attitude, you're gonna get destroyed. Like someone's gonna come along and just like actually just demolish you. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I realized like how little I knew probably about like 3 months after I got out of university. And I remember it's like, you know, you try and do everything you possibly can in a project or whatever, and it was a construction project. And I remember I'm like, oh yeah, I can manage this, no big deal. Like, it looks so easy. You just manage numbers. And like, you know, it's $100 million. How do you know, it's probably not that easy to manage. And then you have your first few meetings with like general contractors and project managers and that kind of stuff. And then you see how good they are at like, just straight up, there'll be a guy that's hired just to model out, say, like Gantt charts. Yeah. And then you realize how little you know. You're like, oh my good God, right? Then it's, I don't know, it's an ignorance check too.
I also have no desire to be the smartest person in the room.
And if you are, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I feel that if I can talk to the smartest person in the room, then I'm doing okay. Yeah. That's kind of where my mentality is.
Oh, I feel like I'm at a point right now that it's like, it's kind of cool because everyone around me generally knows way more than I do about like most topics. And I find it's like you have a sense of ease or peace when you can just like listen to them and just like keep asking questions like, oh, okay, like why is that? Okay, if that happens, then what? Or if that happens, then what? Like just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like mind-boggling.
I have a big question to ask you both. Does this happen to you? In that if you know... Just wait. The question's coming. The question's coming. In that if somebody's talking to you that's super knowledgeable about a certain area and you have no fucking clue, you get this like feeling of like there's like this energy that comes to you, and it's like it's I don't know. I can't even explain it, but it just feels like there's like...
I'm smiling because it's funny, but
yeah.
No, keep going.
Yeah, but it's like this like feeling that washes over you, and you're like, this person is like really good at what they do. I'm just gonna like...
Just a passion.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit and intake all of their energy.
Like me with butter coffee.
Yeah.
Like an admiration sort of thing.
I don't know what it is.
Excitement.
I don't know. Like I used to get it a lot as a kid, and I feel like that's because I was learning so much as a kid. Like I don't know how to do this, so my dad's going to teach me this. And
do you think it was like the way they communicated it, or just the content, or just like...
I don't know. I almost feel like I'm not like a... That's a lie. I am like a pretty spiritual person. I don't know if it's just the energy that they're putting off or something.
It's just like the enthusiasm, maybe.
Maybe that is what it is.
You could even jump in over to the social dynamics, social psych aspect of it, of like you can transfer emotion, which goes to like...
Could be
sales,
could
right?
be their
where
body
it's
language.
Like,
You're like, oh my god,
and like their
so
excitement and enthusiasm about butter coffee. You're like, I guess this is interesting.
Yeah, it's like holy shit.
Do you have your own brand? Do you have stuff for sale?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a hack, dude.
What
is that? If you put on like a smile and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna put good energy into whatever interaction it is. Yeah. You make it a good interaction.
Okay. This is my most favorite hack lately.
Okay.
Oh, I've told a couple people, and it's phenomenal. Get this. So whenever anyone asks you, here, I'll just run you through a scenario.
Okay.
So I woke up, I like got home late, and I still had like 3 or 4 critical tasks I had to get done that day, And it was like, I don't know, 10 at night. So, okay, for me, that's like super late. And so I went, I still have to do ice baths, still have to just eat my vegetables, blah, 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 blah. So it's like getting it done. And eventually go to bed super late. I had to wake up really early because I had to bike to work, do the workout. And I'm sitting there just like slugging through the weights. And I just felt like garbage, right? And I look in the mirror. And I look just disheveled. I look kind of like what I look like right now. And just hair's not done, just a mess. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
And I change. I'm just thinking in my mind, like, oh my God, like, hardest part of the day is done. Like, I feel like shit. Like, just pure negativity going through my whole body, right?
Okay.
I'm like, okay, Phil, like, get some positive charge going on here. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty easy. Just put on a smile. And I'm thinking, like, today's not a smiling day. Fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? Just so down. So I'm walking towards the elevators. And I remember hearing the sound of my feet literally dragging on the ground. It was like, shh, shh, shh. And I thought, like, come on, man. Like, show some enthusiasm or something, right? So I hit the elevator button, go up the elevator. I'm standing there like, oh God, I can rest. And it's like 7:30 in the morning, or it's like 7:45, whatever time it was. And I'm thinking like, is this day almost over? Like, it's just terrible. The elevator goes up, ding, and I'm thinking like, no, I gotta go to work. And it's weird because usually I'm like pumped as shit, right?
Yeah.
Going to work, I'm like, oh God. And it's like 3 or 4 people all kind of lift their heads and look at me. And the first guy, he's like, hey, Phil, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm fantastic. And it's like, that's just the first, as I was thinking, I'm like, how can I turn this around? And like,
that's the first thing.
Right. So, and it didn't actually come out. I thought about it first. I'm like, I'm just going to tell people I'm like fantastic, just over the top enthusiastic about it. So he asked me, he's like, hey, how you doing this morning? I'm like, dude, like, I am fantastic, man. Thanks for asking. And it's like he smiled, started laughing. Everyone started laughing around me, and it like lit me up. And I'm like, whoa! It was just crazy what it did to like the whole vibe. Like,
it's a real thing.
I could have came in and been like, oh, dude, fuck, case of the Mondays, or like some bullshit answer like that.
Yeah,
but
like,
I was like, I'm just gonna throw this out in the world and see what happens. And the
100%.
response was phenomenal. And I thought, whoa, what just happened here?
Yeah, the
Like,
hippies would say there's vibrations and they're actually getting on.
the vibrations.
Yeah.
No,
there is
it's
something
like,
to it though. Like when you're actually having a
Right?
good conversation and there's energy coming from both sides and you just like light each other up.
But the response too, you should have seen people, people around there like, oh, that's cool, man. Like, why are you doing so fantastic? I'm like, I don't know, man. I just feel great.
this guy is on drugs.
Yeah, they're like, why is he always happy? And inside I'm like, holy shit, it works. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Like, no idea.
Just keep going.
Yeah, total hack. Try it next time you feel like garbage.
Yeah.
And someone asks you, like, how's your day going? Instead of saying good, just say fantastic. But say it, like, with a ton of enthusiasm. And you'll jaw drop how people react. It's, like, the craziest thing.
Well, it's like momentum, too. It's like, I don't want to do this laundry. So I'm going to lie in bed until I don't do it. Right?
No, come on.
But what you do is you get out and you start doing it. And then all of a sudden, that wasn't that bad. I finished that.
Man.
Now I'm going to start. Now I'm going to start cooking.
That's like they say that's like an army thing, like why they make their bed so diligently first thing. And it's
Every
like,
day.
Yeah. So you start one task and then you're motivated to do another. And,
Yeah.
I started, I told you that I've been working on every single day in a row, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For 100 days straight.
I'm at
Are
100.
you at 100 days?
I'm at 122 today.
Wow, damn.
So it's 100 days
So,
straight. Go ahead.
some form of physical exercise, or
No, it's like,
is it specific?
So I lift in the mornings, and it's like heavy. I don't like just do pump and tone bullshit. And it's I have a 3-day. I'm like just sticking my fingers out of the blanket. Swing.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-day split. It's like chest, back, legs, and then repeat chest, back, legs, chest, back, legs, chest, back, legs. So you can imagine like your DOMS or delayed onset muscle soreness is going to catch up quick, right? Because you're working out legs, and then 3 days later, you're working out legs. And it's always, like, heavy stuff, like, it's in the 5 to 8 rep range. But yeah, it's been every morning, do that. And then in the evening, I go for an hour. It's either, like, walk or something. It's always outside. So do an hour outside, lift in the morning, hour outside in the evening kind of thing.
Okay.
Do the cold showers and ice that have transitioned to ice baths. We were talking about it before we started recording. Follow my diet, haven't cheated for a single day, 122 days. no alcohol, reading. There's like laundry list of stuff I do every day.
Okay.
And but what were we saying on this topic though?
What's momentum?
Oh, the momentum?
Yeah,
dude, get this. There's been so many days in the beginning when I first started doing it, and given it was like minus 30 Celsius in some days.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and look at my checklist and go, you got to do your outdoor workout. And I'm sitting there going like, oh my God, like really? Why am I doing, like I don't have to.
Yeah.
But I did because I like told myself I would for 100 days.
Mm-hmm.
And probably about the 30-day mark or so, it's like you purposely start choosing to do the harder stuff in life. Say like the laundry,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes like almost an obsession where you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do the harder thing and it feels good to get the laundry done. Or, oh, I'm going to polish my shoes a little extra. Or I'm going to do the dishes instead of leaving it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then eventually you don't even think about it. It becomes default. It's to a point now, sometimes I'm like, dude, to myself, I think, you got to calm down. We're like, say my like I was saying earlier about the bike ride to work, where it's getting like dangerous about like how fast I'm trying to go, like the extremes that I'm going through to like up my physical performance. And you know what I mean? Like you're by default, I could take the bridge over the river, but instead I purposely choose to bike down the hill as fast as I can, or down the river valley as fast as I can, and bike up the river valley and like try and keep up with cars. And just from like working out every single day in a row, the diet, all that stuff, it's like by default you choose the harder thing. And things like laundry, I mean,
it's just nothing anymore.
Dude, that's a joke.
Yeah,
like, that is
exactly.
such a joke now.
Yeah.
And before, I used to be exactly like that. Like, I had
Yeah.
this severe laundry problem. Where, like, you know when you have, like...
Tell him about the fucking 100 white t-shirts. Tell him about that.
Okay, that was a different Phill.
Yeah, but tell him about it, because
Okay,
that's fucking hilarious.
I was, like, obsessed in university about, like, just optimizing my brain to remember more things, right? Because that was my competitive advantage, was memorization. So I just thought, like, how can I max this out? And so I would always, like, study in 50-minute chunks, right? Study for 50 minutes and then have a break for 10 minutes. And you do that, say you do 14, 15, 16 times a day. So it's like you get in your 15, 16 hours worth of studying in a day. And I remember it got to a point in those 10-minute breaks, I would research about the brain and, like, how to improve memory, how to improve, like, wakefulness, like all kinds of stuff without like extraneous things.
I'm finding something. I'm not texting something. Okay. Keep going.
And so yeah, I remember reading this research, and long story short, this guy did a series of experiments, and he found that the quality in your decisions and your ability to make decisions, effectively your willpower, got diminished over time. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that diminished it the quickest was you actually making quite routine decisions. For example, like, what clothes do I wear today? Do I wear the blue shirt or the red shirt? Do I put on the sneakers or do I put on the J's? Like, what do I bring for lunch? You're sitting there trying to leave and you go like, oh, do I take a banana or apple? Like, oh, the protein shake? Your brain's like decision mania. And you haven't even left your house yet.
It's self-regulatory resource model or something like that. Is that
Whoa,
the one?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's where they basically essentially prove that self-discipline in the brain is more or less a muscle, right? So it does get fatigued.
So, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, I went, okay, if I'm going to save, let's say, all that decision power, we'll pretend it's like a gas tank. So I have full gas tank. If I can keep it as full as possible, then when it comes down to thinking, should I start studying now in my 50-minute chunk or not? It's like immediate. I have a full tank. I'm like, yep, boom, start, right? And then things like diet, you make those decisions really easy. So I decided, I'm like, how can I eliminate as many decisions as possible? So the 100 white V-necks, this is like, I decided, I looked at my closet, and I remember the next morning I went, what do I wear? I'm like, that's a decision. I must eliminate this.
Yeah.
So that night, that was the first thing I eliminated was I went on Alibaba, and I went and bought 100 white V-necks. Just so I'm like, I wouldn't have to decide first thing in the morning. And then I went to, I think it was like Buffalo or Levi's or something. And I went, okay. And I'm like, I found a pair of jeans. Like, do you have them in a 31, 36? And she's like, yeah, we have like 7 or 8 pairs. I'm like, oh my God. And I remember it was like 7 pairs of the exact same jeans. And then I went to...
So he pulled the Steve Jobs.
Like, I went to... But that was before it's cool.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Before.
Yeah.
So yeah, and same with dress shoes. So same dress shoes, same jeans, same shirt, every day for 4 years.
Yeah,
like
that's
literally
the Steve
every
Jobs
single day.
Yeah.
But dude, it was such a struggle when I finished university because I threw out all my other clothes. I'm like, or I donated them or whatever.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's like when we graduated, I went, oh my god, like what do I do?
So is there any reason you don't do it now because you have to wear
I still do it now, but
Okay.
so I wear a suit every day.
Yeah.
But say it's like I have 25, 30 suits kind of thing. So I just take the next one on the rack, and when I'm done, I just put it to the back of the rack, and that's it. There's
and
no
then you
decision power.
It's on to the
So
next.
it's like a carousel. And then in
like
terms
that.
of dress shirts,
Yeah.
they're all white. They're all no decision power required.
Yeah.
And then I recently came to like an issue with ties
Okay.
because it's like, I don't know, man. What tie do you wear? Color matching, all that garbage.
Mhm.
So I decided on Sunday night when I food prep, it's like tie selection time too, and I choose a tie. I wear the same tie all week.
Jesus.
Really?
You straight up.
Interesting.
So that
Wow.
when you get home and you take the suit off, I like take the tie off, put it on the next suit that I'm gonna wear the next day. Like just hang it up.
Yeah.
And then you just take the full suit off, hang it up. Boom, you got another white shirt waiting. 0 decisions required. Anyway.
So you
Wow.
thought your buddy was a serial killer?
Yeah. For sure. Absolutely, man. You're quite understanding.
Dude, come on. Why are you
Yeah.
gonna play that?
I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very like. I always found reading and listening to Tim Ferriss's stuff over the years, which I haven't done in a bit, but he was always all about like
Optimization.
optimizing the next thing and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's really
Well, I've
interesting.
never
that
read
you
any of his
think that
stuff,
way.
but I bet it's like we'd be pals.
I feel like you would think you were reading your own thoughts, judging by
Maybe.
what you just described
Maybe.
with the 100 white T-shirts.
Yeah.
But it's like they're my thoughts now, but they're borrowed
yeah.
from like research.
For sure.
But
But you like, it's his. I would just call it intensity, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
The way he like always is trying to approach things is really interesting.
D
oh my god, this thing.
P
Do you still play this?
Of course.
What is this?
Okay, so this is
Dual and
called
back.
Yeah, dual and back. So this is something that Phil showed me probably a year ago.
Are you ready to have your skull actually melt?
So this is to develop what is the memory called?
Working memory.
Working memory. That's exactly.
Yeah, when I was writing the
I should
GMAT
know that because I play a lot more dual and back, so I should remember that. But anyway,
What level are you at now?
like 4.
Oh yeah, it's like 5, 6 is like the major leagues.
Yeah.
And some people you can get up to like 15 on that thing.
Yeah, no, I think there's 20, and I'm like, who the fuck is doing 20?
Dude, that is some you gotta have like the soundproofed room,
Yeah.
lights off.
Yeah.
Like you gotta have zero
So
stimulation.
what is
coming
it?
in.
What is it?
So the tenant
Describe
is
it for
essentially,
people.
it brings up a grid of, which is essentially look like a tic-tac-toe grid.
Yeah, it's like
And
9.
it'll say a letter. It's probably because it's, I don't know why it's not doing it. But anyway, it will say a letter, and then light will flash. And you're supposed to remember 3 back. So if your N is 3, you have to remember 3 before the one that just came. So you're supposed to remember, like, if this square lit up and it was B, and then 2 other squares light up, and then it goes back to this one and it says B, but it's not the same square, you're supposed to say that it was a sound match, but not a position match.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll have it light up and the same letter will come, and then you say it's both a position and a sound match, and the other one is like a position match. I'm sure
Have fun.
I'm sure I'm butchering the shit out of this.
Okay, pretty
but-
much. You know the game Snake, like where he goes in. You know the super old school game, and it's like the snake that just goes around on like a board,
And it
it,
like eats
you,
things and gets longer.
Yeah, it like eats things and gets longer.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like this. So what you have to do when the head of the snake moves,
Sorry, it's called dual and back.
Yes.
dual end back.
Yeah.
So when the picture, like, you have to remember where the tail of the snake is. So you know the tail of the snake keeps moving. So imagine if you can only only see the front of the snake, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to visualize where the back of the snake is. And let's say the snake is 3 blocks long.
Yeah.
So the head is like, I'm at position like, bottom right. And then now the head's at, let's say, middle right. And then now the head's at top right. So then if the snake is 3 blocks long, that the tail's in the bottom right now. Right? But the way that it flashes, it only flashes one block at a time, and it's completely random. So you have to remember where the tail is 3 blocks ago. And then,
Interesting.
So that's hard enough.
But
and then they have the letters.
Yeah, and then there's the letters. Oh my
so
God.
then the vocal, they're like A, B, C, and then they'll say A, and you go, okay, is A a repeat of 3 letters ago? And you're like, oh yeah, it is, right? And then they go C, and then you're like, wait, 3 letters ago was B.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. So you have to decide whether it was position, letter, or both 3 turns ago.
Yeah. It's difficult as fuck. What level are you on?
Interesting.
It actually, every time I played it, it's always like in the 5-6 zone, and then I'm like, it's at night too, and I'm trying to like calm down and go to bed, and I'm just, you can feel your head actually getting, for me,
it hurts.
It like, you can feel it getting warmer, and like you're starting to perspire, and you think,
interesting.
Whoa.
Yeah. So for those people listening
there.
audio only, or even the video, because this probably makes no sense. Go look up, look up dual N back. That's dual, like DUAL, and the letter N back. Dash back.
Yeah.
And,
we'll include links.
This is really interesting, actually. I'm curious about this.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out how to improve my working memory for reading comprehension for the GMAT.
Mm-hmm.
And from all the research that I've done, everyone and everything pretty much just pointed to more reading comp. But then I thought, well, like the time cost is huge to do reading comp and questions. And you eventually run out of stuff that's like official GMAT. And this is pretty much the best replacement, where studies show that this actually does improve your working memory over time, which is awesome.
Now, computers have much better memories than you do, and I do.
This debate, here we go.
So,
yeah.
It's like, if I read a book 3 years ago and I absorbed that knowledge, right, and I'm able to apply it today, awesome. However, 5 years from now, somebody may be able to apply that knowledge within 5 minutes of seeing that sort of thing, right?
Or like 5 milliseconds.
Yeah. So it becomes a question of, is memory intelligence, or are we doing kind of what we've always known, I guess, to be intelligence? Or is intelligence more like creativity and stuff like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it depends on
it's something that I've
context,
been battling with myself a
why
lot.
so?
Because of the tenets of, like, I know how good computers are at, well, I mean, I just know how, if I need to look up something, I can Google it, and in 5 minutes, I have the answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm essentially, exactly. So where does my purpose come in if I simply just memorize things, right? Because that's what schooling generally is memorization and then regurgitation onto a test paper.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll call it like bottom tier schools.
Yeah.
Generally.
Okay.
Or like the Ivy League, they teach you, it's like you're developing the way you think.
Okay. So decision making would probably be what you're talking
That's
about.
why I'm going like all in on soft skills.
Okay.
Like, that's all I read about. That's all I actively study. That's all I actively practice.
Okay.
It's not technical stuff because of that.
Gotcha.
Right? Because you never know. What if in 10 years from now, like even saying having a CFA, I don't know the CFA curriculum, so, but...
Well, I mean, you kind of do. You took your level 1.
Yeah, you're right.
So
level 1 was just all, like, just memorized a little over 40,000 flashcards, regurgitate, pass, right? It's like, but I don't know about level 2 and 3, but it's one of those things where you go, okay, if this is in books and it's a highly technical role, I could be wrong because maybe there's like a lot of soft aspects to it, like say crowd psych, or there's probably a lot of crowd psych involved in that kind of thing. But let's say the basic stuff, like your analyst level.
Yeah.
Dude, a computer's got to be able to take that out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And in a fraction of a second sort of thing.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
Until it starts to get to the big stuff, or like, you know, where you have guys that have to do, we'll call it gut decisions or whatnot. You got to wonder when there's going to be a point where computers will be able to have that quote-unquote gut.
You want to know my opinion on it?
What's that?
I personally think that the whole generalized AI thing is kind of out to lunch. I think that, yes, a computer can beat you in chess because it's a constrained system. So there's only so many decisions that can be made.
Yeah.
And you just Monte Carlo the shit out of it and you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
But the real world, And sorry for the people that don't know what a Monte Carlo distribution is.
I'm like, just Monte Carlo it.
Yeah.
Get on your horse.
And I'm like, yeah, no.
What is
Tell
it?
them what a Monte Carlo distribution
Oh, it's like, you pretty much, let's say you have, let's try it with like two variables. So let's say you have 1 + 1 = 2, right? And then a Monte Carlo will go, okay, the first input, the 1, let's change it to 2. What do you get? And you get like 2 + 1 = 3. And then it takes the first variable and runs it through whatever 10,000 different scenarios. What is the answer? And then it takes the second variable and it runs it through 10,000 different scenarios. What are the answers?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you look at all those answers on a plot, you go, okay, generally the answers will be around this zone, let's say. But you add probabilities to each one. You go, okay, there's like higher probability that the first input will be, like, say, between 1 and 10, it'll be a 5. And a higher probability that the second input will be between 1 and 10, it's a higher probability that it will be a 3.
Yeah.
And then so it'll show, like, okay, once we ran all these scenarios 10,000 times, switch the numbers all over,
Yeah.
the answer was more than likely to be 8.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Monte Carlo.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Going on.
if we play this chess game 100 times, what is the best move?
Bingo.
99 out of those times.
That's just it. Because you go like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I do this move, then you assign a probability to, let's say, the probability of it winning or the probability of the other chess player moving positive or negative to you, that kind of thing. You just keep... We do it sometimes in real estate modeling.
Yep.
Where we just...
Well, it's huge in data science.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge in data
Oh,
science.
I love... It's awesome because people say, oh, like, what if rents increase by $50 a month? Or what if interest rates go up by a point or down a point? Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't worry, the machine can model every single variable you can think of, and then you just assign probabilities. You go, 20% probabilities that interest rates go
But it
up,
can't.
or rents go down, blah, 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 blah.
But
blah.
it can't, because what if there's a nuclear explosion and the building is gone?
Boom.
So that's
Yeah.
so
Black
that's-
Swan.
But
Well,
that's,
that goes-
that's
that's your
exactly
point.
what I'm saying, right? Is there's no constrained systems in real
This
life.
is where you're going.
Okay,
You walked me right into it.
but that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A Go game
yeah.
is far more complex than chess.
Yeah.
However, there's also constraints. A League of Legends game, which is where what's Elon Musk's AI company? Well, they're more of an AI firm.
Didn't even know.
Don't know the name.
It'll come to me, but that's where they're going with it right now, is playing League of Legends against professional players.
Mm-hmm.
There's still constraints within those systems, right? It's a video game, right? So there's certain constraints and only what movements you can do and whatever, right? Now when we go into real life, what I just said, the building burns down. There is no building.
But you can look at like probabilities of that happening.
Absolutely.
Right?
However, they still exist, and they're black swans, right? Have you
Yeah,
ever...
They're like chance events.
Exactly. But black swans do happen.
This is why people, or like some firms can make so much money in finance though, because it's like you just assign probabilities to what you think is more than likely going to happen, right? And then eventually it's like over time, okay, it's right, keep going,
Yeah.
right? So then
Until it's not.
That's all the machine has to do.
Until it's not, though.
Here's a pretty good example of like the machine going into the guts. It's kind of a weird visual, but the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers AI, they're getting to a point now, and this is in football where there's so much randomness, right? This isn't baseball where it's one-on-one like batter versus pitcher.
Yep.
And you've run that scenario thousands of times, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
They can tell, and there's AI that they're developing right now where they make customized workouts for each player after every game.
Interesting.
Because it follows like how much they worked according to what they think their potential is. They look at how much lateral movement they did, how much acceleration, how much head hitting, how much shoulder hitting, blah, 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 blah. And the machine says, here's the best workout to do.
Really?
Yeah, and if you do this workout for this specific player, the probability of that person getting better is X. That kind of thing.
Do you see the stuff that they're doing in F1 now? In where they're doing like percentage of pass via pit stop?
Oh, isn't it insane? Like,
Yeah.
and that's the stuff that we know, and that's the
Yeah.
surface level stuff.
Yeah.
They can pretty much calculate. They're like, holding all else equal, we will win in like 20 X laps.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, Pray there's no safety car.
Yeah.
Pray Max doesn't crash into someone.
Yeah. Pray somebody doesn't go sideways in the wall or whatever. But,
Yeah.
but that is the thing, though, is like, let's talk about long-term capital management or whatever in the 90s, where you have a finance firm that's doing that sort of thing, right? They're playing the probabilities. They're like, this has never happened before, so we don't have to take it into account. And then that thing happens. And then you're a firm that's collapsed $30 billion in assets that you have to sell off, right?
Right.
So that's the thing, is like,
you gotta wonder, but that's where this is where psych comes rolling in too, where you're like, guys, why didn't you have a lot of insurance on all your positions? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, but insurance is just another model on top
I know,
of the
it's just
model,
derivatives, you're
right?
Like, holy.
So I don't know. That's my take on it. In that I feel that there's so many unknowns in real life, right?
I think sometimes too, like me going all in on soft stuff, I go, what if there's a machine that comes in that's actually just like it emulates or can do what the best coaches and leaders in the world can do to any business. It's like, uh-oh. I think about that sometimes too, where I'm like, am I wasting my time? Should I try and be a pro athlete? Is that all that's left?
Then you should just give up.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, what about...
Not an option.
Who is the dude we liked who was on Joe Rogan recently? Tim something? No.
Which guy? I'm trying to think.
Angel List guy.
Naval Ravikant.
Naval Ravikant. Do you know who that is?
No.
He basically makes the argument that he doesn't really fear the AI overlords or whatever, because the automation, which ties nicely to our earlier conversation, it'll automate so many simple aspects of your life and day-to-day stuff, where all that's really left to do is like creative work, right? And that doesn't mean just painting your fucking with finger paint all day. Like, it means anything that's kind of higher level,
complex problem solving,
like very prefrontal cortex, artistic, creative, social, kind of that I would call it like a synthesis type thinking sort of thing, right? And
realistically, all you have to do is like, sure, what if the machines are coming? Then why don't you become a programmer, or like what I'm doing on the soft skill side, or and if you think it's going to take you out, then cool, like deal with it. It's like you hear all the time, especially in my industry, where people are like, oh, the economy is so slow right now, blah blah blah, we can't make money, and then for some reason you always see that one or two guys and gals just absolutely dominating. Doesn't matter if the market's up, down, all around. And those are the people that have the mindset where it's like they keep just playing, whether it's the cards they're given, or else they just go to a different poker table. They're like, okay, well, this table sucks, so go to this one. Versus most people stay at that.
That's good.
Most people stay at that table. They're like, this table sucks, but here's my money. And you're like, what are you doing?
I'm the fish. I keep losing. Take all my fucking money.
No, that's totally what it is. So, yeah.
You want to hear something kind of freaky, though? Is they are automating the basic stuff in AI.
The what, sorry?
The precursors to actual models.
Yeah, I read an article the other day. There's a chick out of, where is she out of? Anyway, it was like one of the Ivies, I think, in the U.S.
Yeah.
She built it was an AI-based robot that has learned how to build computer chips to make AI. So it's like this machine that eventually learned. It was like through, whether it was machine learning or whatever it was, and eventually learned how to make chips. And then the chipsets get installed, and then they work. And then based on like all that feedback, the machine that's building the chips ends up learning how to make them better. And it's like, whoa. It's this loop.
Do we want to destroy ourselves?
That's
it's like, oh my god.
It's like, we want?
It's gonna get to a point. It's like
sort of like a self-destructive, like
we can't stop.
There's a word for that where you enjoy pain, but you also enjoy kind of like self-sabotage.
Masochist.
Masochist. Yeah.
It's like a masochistic pursuit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
To Mars we go.
And restart all over again.
So, you said you don't watch TV. Like, you probably don't have Netflix. Then
nope.
No. Well,
haven't watched. I got rid of my TV in 2009.
Really?
10 years.
Just don't have one, eh?
0.
Yeah.
I had one. My ex-girlfriend moved in a year and a half ago. and she brought along with her TV.
Oh,
She
okay.
took the TV with her when she moved out.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's a good
default-
situation.
So,
Review.
anyways,
Yeah.
on that note, on Netflix, there's a show called Love, Death, and Robots.
Okay.
And there's one episode called Dima Blue, I want to say, or Sema Blue, or something like that.
Okay.
And if you have Netflix, you should go watch it. And
Okay.
I would even recommend
You get the subscription
Yeah.
for the next month.
for 1 month
Just to watch
or
it.
like jump on
No, I'm
YouTube
okay.
and see if you can find it. But
Okay.
like it actually talks about, or it's like there are a bunch of short stories. Like it's an not an analog. Epilogue, is that the right word? Where
Could
it's
be,
like
yeah.
it's a series, but the story, they're not sequels or sequential or whatever, but
Yeah.
they're vaguely related, right?
Okay.
So, but anyways, that one's really interesting. Where it's about like a, actually, I don't even want to give it away, but it's really interesting. It makes you think, but it makes you think.
You have
about,
to give it away, 'cause he's
Yeah,
not
I'm
gonna
like,
watch it.
makes
I'm not
you-
gonna watch it.
All right, well, Phil's out for this one. Josh, go home and watch it. You guys go home and watch it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. There's such a philosophical discussion around it, right?
it really is.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, you should watch this, and we'll follow up this conversation
Okay.
later or something. And
Fine, I'll
it's
waste
really good.
30 minutes of my life. And
Actually, it's like a 10-minute episode. So
okay, I'll only waste 10 minutes of my life.
Oh, this is tempting, but I'm not going to do it.
I'll tell you if it's worth
yeah.
it.
You know what?
But it's,
I'll take the fucking bullet
yeah,
for
you
you.
take
Oh,
the bullet.
I'll take the fucking bullet
I have
for you.
terrible
Really?
hearing,
Yeah.
and I thought you said I'll tape it for you.
No,
I'm
no,
like,
I'll
what is this in your
Yeah,
VHS?
I'll give you the VHS,
Yeah.
bro. Yeah.
It's really good. It is about kind of AI and sentience and stuff, but in like an artistic story sort of way. It's really interesting. I think you'd actually enjoy it.
Okay.
Imagine
Yeah.
if AI got to a point where it started solving the problems that humans couldn't solve.
It won't, though, because you know what it will do? Is it will take us out of the equation.
Ooh.
'Cause
Maybe. They'll be like, you're the problem.
But that is what it is we are the problem.
Well, I'm talking about things like while we're still here.
Well,
say
isn't
like,
that exact? But then,
Say like the water issue,
yeah.
or like the famine issue, or the many gigantic issues that we have on the planet.
Okay.
Pollution issues. Let's say it just comes up with some solution that's like, hey, this is how you can solve your
Well,
pollution
to
problem.
solve the pollution problems is to kill all humans.
Yeah,
So,
wipe out.
there's
but,
that, but-
let's say, hold up, let's
Yeah.
give the AI a constraint, just
Okay.
like Go or Chess. You
Okay.
cannot eliminate the humans.
Okay.
Now go solve
Well,
it.
here's
We're going to trade carbon credits because that's fucking amazing. That's the best way to fix that problem.
Like you gotta wonder.
I'm joking, by the way, for
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
at home, but yeah.
As
if
I
you
cuddle up in this
yeah,
blanket.
yeah.
Damn AC.
So one interesting point I kind of and like it's AI is one of those things like you can argue about it till the cows come home, but no one in this room has like a truly breadth and depth understanding of it,
No.
and we're kind of more philosophical at best about it. Like
I'm
what?
beginner.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like one thing they said is at the end of the day, AI technology is still binary. It's still ones and zeros. It's still on or off. So
Right.
could that, like, we're making very smart. We're currently AI is just something that can read data extremely quickly and give a bunch of outputs in a very efficient way.
Like imagine
Is it? Will it be able to truly like think, feel, connect,
No.
emote? Right.
That's
And-
what my take is on it. Is that I
Now,
don't think
for
but
it's-
then I mean, to
Yeah.
your point about
Maybe.
constraints. Well, what are the constraints of the world? Well, I don't know. I guess
Gravity.
the law of gravity.
Yeah,
right?
physics.
Yeah,
I suppose.
but like now, one other thing that I heard was interesting was like, well, think about like chimpanzees. Like chimpanzees have societies. They have like family structure. They have group structure.
Mm-hmm.
They have social structure. I believe they actually war with each other and stuff too.
they
Okay.
do. I
So they have a
I just read this the
they
other
have
day, actually,
societies, right?
Yeah.
But how often do you think about chimpanzee societies? Never.
Just now.
Just now. Like they occupy the same planet, but they're two totally separate things, right? So in theory, could AI get so high and above us that we're the chimpanzees to them? Like
here's the wait.
like they would
hold
like
up, back
get
up.
so they would get so like complex and like high mind society, and they're like, wow, look at these.
Here's
well,
the-
I mean, mammals running around
Look at
shitting
these-
everywhere
yeah,
and
what
fucking
the
and
hell?
like
Yeah.
polluting the planet, like
Damn
fucking, right?
banana
So-
peelers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Here's a thought I want to drop in there.
Okay.
You said above us,
yeah.
like the AI above
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think that it's like we're totally just another animal on the planet.
Uh-huh.
And it just so happened we're at the top of the food chain. And, like, we probably weren't at first. Right?
Well,
like,
we are by no means an apex predator. We're just, like,
it's because
vaguely smarter than them.
Yeah.
It's because we invented things that
Yeah.
allowed us. Like, let's say it was us versus chimpanzee way back in the day. They would, like, literally rip our face off.
What about now?
And
They still could.
They
way
still could.
Even, like, the strongest, like, a chimpanzee, like, half your size of the strongest man on Earth, like, would probably still do some fucking damage to you, for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see AI. Let's say you put on some, like, a camera on your head and you're a surgeon, or let's say it's like let's say AR.
Yeah.
And you're looking at someone, you open them up, you're doing some surgery.
You're like Tony Stark and, like, the thing, like,
well, no, like, let's say you're looking,
like,
you're looking at organs, like, you open someone up, you're looking at some organs, you're about to go in there, and it can analyze which organs are where and what's going on, and then it runs a bunch of scenarios, and it suggests, like, oh, you should probably do X instead of Y, or, like, you had a plan to do something, and it like, makes, say, Monte Carlo, 10,000 or 15,000 different scenarios, and it goes, you know, the best route is actually to cut here instead of here, and here's the reasons why, here's the symptoms that we're picking up, we've done all the calculations, don't worry about it, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Instead of, like, intuition mode.
Well, it's something where, like, it could definitely improve our lives, but then going back to the Amazon in every home issue,
Whoa.
we're like, whoa, hang on, but, like, you cannot have one of those without the other,
You know,
right?
it's
to
like-
many degrees. So,
Imagine if every single house in the world had the drainage that came off the roof, instead of it draining onto the yard, if it, like, drained into the sewer systems, and every time it rained, it's like every house becomes a funnel and it, like, overwhelms the sewer system. I wonder, like, that's like Amazon with the data inside your house. Like, once you're in every single house, you just have this massive
what are you
conduit.
possibly going to do with it, right?
Right? It's like you have
that-
this massive conduit of stuff going into the machine. You're like, huh. But realistically, I mean, if they use it for the greater good, and they use it to make products that make our life easier, then sure, we'll pay a dollar for it. And it's like, sure, we'll give them our data, because it's giving us more time. I think for us, we have to take the perspective, in my mind, this is my opinion, I think we have to take the perspective of, if there are corporations that have taken all that data, and let's say it's safe or not, regardless, it's like most of our data is already out there. If they're creating products that make our lives better and they're doing it for the greater good, then yeah, I'm totally willing to give them my data, pay something for those products or whatever. But I'm of the opinion that it's like you have to take that extra time that you're given and do something about it. Instead of, you know...
Watch
like,
more Netflix.
Watch more Netflix, but
But that's
anyway.
what most people will do.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, oh, it did make my life better. Like,
I'm just of the mind that people should have a choice, but they need to be educated on it, and most people aren't educated on it. Like, they're not aware of what's going on.
The big... Oh, I know,
what your
it's
data's
striking.
being used for, and
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that still don't know why Google, they're like, oh, you know, let's say you type in dog.
Yeah, see, that's surface level, too.
And this is, let's say you type in dog, and it shows you suggestions in your city. Like, that is some very basic stuff, and people don't even realize that it's like, why do you think it showed you business results in the city and not, like, a picture of a dog on an island that someone took and uploaded to Google? Like, how did the machine know to filter that?
Yeah.
And that's, like, super basic stuff, too.
Yeah. Or, like, you went to a certain website, and now you're getting ads targeted to you.
Come
because you went to
on,
the
that's,
website.
like, so basic.
Yeah, that's fairly...
I could teach people in 5 minutes how to stop all of that.
Yeah.
Right? So that stuff is all very surface level. But where it goes, though, is where you start providing personal information, right? And then they actually start building profiles around you.
Yeah.
And then they sell that information to company X, Y, and Z, or government ABC.
Well, think of it like insurance companies with all of our wearables.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the new Apple Watch can determine, like, say, heart rate variability and all that stuff.
Yeah, your premiums are going to be dictated based on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they'll look at my history and be like, this guy's a freak. Maybe he works out too much. He's going to die.
He's probably going to die of a heart attack.
He's going to have a heart attack.
5 years, yeah.
We heard a podcast of him talking about how he's pushing his limits.
Yeah.
High risk.
Yeah.
High premium.
Guy almost dies on his bike ride every single fucking day.
Every morning.
Yeah. So,
cold paths?
Yeah.
Psycho. High premium.
But we joke, but that is the direction it's going.
Oh.
Right?
You gotta wonder. Well, look at, like Apple with the credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Like, talk about a massive repository of knowing exactly what you buy all the time, everywhere. They literally know. It's like your phone's with
Using
you all
Apple
the time.
Pay, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the
cre-
new
they actually
Apple
introduced a
card.
credit card.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much just a credit card. But
But
it just has... They just took all the pains that you normally have from credit cards. Say, checking your balance, knowing when it's due, knowing what your credit score is, like knowing where you bought something.
Yeah.
And they just made it like front and center, super intuitive.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
It's more usable.
Yeah,
More
it's
user-friendly.
I actually didn't hear that about their credit card. That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
it's pretty slick. And it's like, yeah, they just eliminated all the pains. But think of, they'll be able to know exactly who you are because, you know, they know what you say in your texts. They know what your emails are. They know where you are at all times. They know who your friends are. They know your Facebook. Like, what do they not know?
Yeah.
It's funny because I think they're the dark horse when it comes to that too.
Oh, yeah.
'Cause
Dude,
I
Apple, it's like the portal, man.
Actually, yeah,
Yeah.
because we talk about Amazon, Facebook, whatever, but it's the portal. Like what?
You're using your iPhone
That's
to buy
the
stuff
hardware.
on
That's
Amazon.
the iPhone.
Yeah,
The
dude.
iPhone is the underlying everything.
It's the
right?
portal. That's
Yeah.
like the conduit to get to the things.
Well, that's why Google made the acquisition of Android, Nexus,
100.
etc.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why they wanted to get in.
Did you have you heard Michael Lewis's podcast? What's it called? It's about refs.
Are you plugging other podcasts on my podcast?
I'm
Yeah.
plugging-
On our podcast right now?
we're like podcast squared here. Podcast plugin.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, it's amazing. He at one point he talks about
We censor ourselves on our own podcast.
Exactly.
So.
what do you mean?
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
There's been a couple bleep outs in previous episodes, but
fair.
yeah.
Have you heard it though? He's like, there's one. He does some cool stuff. It's like investigative work, and he's talking about the difference between like being closer to the data center for like New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
It's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Versus being like a couple blocks away from it.
Yeah.
It's in like the hundredths or thousandths or tens of thousandths of a second difference, and like what that does for like front running and all kinds of crazy shit.
They paid $300 million.
Yeah, for like a wire the size of your pinky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah. Just to be as close to
Yeah.
the stock exchange as possible.
Have you ever seen
This
it?
is like a finance.
This is a
Yeah.
finance thing.
Have
Yeah,
you ever
so-
seen, search up the New York Stock Exchange data center in New Jersey. It's
Huge fucking building.
massive gray box.
Yeah. Nobody knows what's in there.
I think it says I want to say it's Bank of Merrill Lynch is on the
Oh, okay.
the Google Maps that shows the actual building. It's called like the N4 or something.
It's
So-
for algo trading, and
No, it's the whole NYSE.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's where all the trades go through. But it's like if you want to algo, go there. right?
You want it there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying it's like
Euronext.
that's it. But the specific data center, that one in question is like N4 or something, whatever.
I just know that like market makers would definitely want to be there because that's where they make the money.
Well, get this. Where people started noticing it, you'd put it in order. Let's say you were on the trading desk at whatever RBC, and you go, okay, I want, let's say 40,000 shares of whatever,
Yeah.
and so you go to put in your order, you click send, and then you immediately get a reply that says 32,000 shares were filled, and you have 8,000 that weren't filled, and it kept happening over and over and over to guys that were like prominent in say New York, and they're going like, what's happening here? So what was happening is guys that were closer to the data centers, and they had just pure fiber optics and supercomputers, they would see the trade coming in, like their computers would detect the trade coming in, they'd see it on the wire, we'll call it. They would put in a bid for, we'll say like 8,000 or whatever in this case,
Yeah.
and then place that bid before they could get it themselves.
Yeah. And
So
that's
it's called front running.
yeah.
Isn't that
But
crazy? It's
You
like,
do know
it's
that
crazy.
holy
that
shit.
happens also, maybe not once, maybe not twice, but sometimes 10, 20, 50 times before your order gets through.
Yeah, it's like bonkers.
So you place an
And we're
order.
talking like
for-
thousandths of a second.
yeah. So you order a share of Apple on your computer.
Oh, but us, there's not even, but we have
It's
zero.
not
pull.
even close.
Yeah.
We're talking like block trades, like
Yeah.
big.
But even still, the retail trader gets fucked too.
Oh, ours is like, because ours gets bundled with
Yeah.
thousands of other retail traders, right?
Right.
And then
So
it's
what
like,
I-
oh, here's a block.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, you buy a share of Apple, that share is being traded 50 times before it comes to you.
100%.
Yeah, at minimum.
100%.
Yeah.
So they're
The
making
front running
money
thing's
on
crazy,
the,
though.
on the margins. Is
On
that
the little
tiny.
Yeah.
The little ticks in between.
But front running just blows my mind though, because there's zero effort involved. You're waiting for that whale to make a trade.
There's a lot of effort involved by very intelligent people that should be doing something a little bit better for society. But
Isn't it
builds the
they're like,
models and
I got an idea, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get. I read it after hearing that on that other show. I looked it up, and there was guys that were like adamant about, say, like the straightness of the trench of their wire going to the data center.
Yeah.
Like it couldn't have curves, couldn't have turns.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like, it had to be this fiber optic cable that would like cut across people's like properties.
Yeah.
They were just so adamant about the straightness of it,
Yeah.
just so that it would get there, thousandths of a second earlier.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
I find it kind of sad that the smartest minds in the entire world are going to do that, or going to create advertising structures that get fed to people, and that's pretty much it.
You gotta wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
These guys should be, honestly, fun NASA, bro. You were wearing the NASA shirt yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, fun NASA.
R.I.P.
Bring it back.
Fun NASA.
Bring it back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Have you seen that engineer YouTube channel? Does like all kinds of crazy experiments. Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
No.
Former NASA.
Is that the guy that did the glitter bomb?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea who that
I
is.
love the stuff he does. It's amazing.
Just to let me summarize, he had an issue where people were stealing packages off of his front porch. So he made this like super MacGyvered
package
glitter stink bomb
Yeah, you'd like take off the lid, and people would look at it, they're like, "What is this?"
inside
and,
a HomePod.
Yeah.
Just to yeah.
Oh,
just,
yeah, it was in like an
inside
Apple
of a
HomePod.
HomePod box. So the box would be sitting on his porch,
people would steal it.
and there was like 10 people that stole it.
Yeah,
And
it's
he would-
amazing. You should see it. It like you take off the lid, and you just look at it. It looks like
Is it like an ink thing from an ATM sort of thing?
kind of, but
pretty
it was
much.
a
And
glitter bomb.
but it was
With-
funny because it would shoot glitter everywhere, and people
Yeah.
were like, "Oh, what the hell!" And he had like 4 phones, so you could get like a 360 view of them doing this that were mounted, and then it would start shooting fart spray. It was like ridiculous. So it would just smell terrible. There's glitter everywhere, and his GPS tracked, and people were just losing their
Before I go
minds.
take a leak, still better than what these guys are putting their minds to. Okay.
But yeah, so the 100 days, yeah, it's not what it did to me physically. It's like what it did to me mentally. So things, for example, let's say you wash your hands after going to the washroom. You throw a paper towel, misses the garbage can by an inch. You're like, oh, whatever, walk away, right? It went from that to like, month or so in, I'm like, okay, I know I should put that in. So you turn around and do it. Now it's like, don't even think about it. If it misses, just by default, put it in. And it doesn't even cross your mind.
Yeah.
So I think, doing the 100 workouts, 100 ice baths, 100-second workouts, 100 like diet, blah 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 blah, over and over and over. It's like it's changed. It feels like it's rewired me. Where that's been the biggest change, definitely mentally. Where, I don't know. You go from thinking in your mind, oh yeah, that's what someone who's really crushing it at life would do.
Yeah.
To
I could do that.
Or
I am doing
or
that.
boom, those are the two transitions.
Yeah.
You go, like that's what someone like that would do. Or say like you look at a Navy SEAL, you're like, that's not me.
Yeah.
And then it turns into that's what they would do. That's what I'm doing. And then it's like, well, by default, you're just acting like that all the time. It's like
David Goggins. Have you read his book?
that's the dude that like just doesn't stop.
Yeah,
Right?
can't hurt me.
Yeah.
Would highly recommend for everybody to read that book. Yeah.
Huh.
So he talks about his journey from being like a 300-pound obese dude to a fucking Navy SEAL who
Boom.
baddest motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
in the
And
world.
you know what? I bet you people always look at his result photo.
That is, they look at him now and say, I couldn't do that.
But here's another one too. They look at his result photo and they're like, they probably look at that physical change.
Yeah.
But I bet you it's like, think of, what that did to him mentally throughout the entire journey. He probably doesn't even care what he looks like right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's why I don't share this on Instagram with that whole transition. Because I feel like people would be like, oh my God, you're like jacked now or ripped.
It's like, I couldn't
whatever.
do that.
Or that too, right? But they would like it for like the physical, like
Yeah.
the aesthetic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, even if I had a massive thing that said read the caption and it's all about
Yeah.
what it did to me mentally, my
Yeah.
life, my discipline,
Yeah.
this, that, the other thing, and how that's
I still
spilled
think you
over.
should do it.
I know. There's something that's holding me back
Yeah.
because I don't want the vanity aspect.
Have you ever heard the saying, how you do anything is how you do everything?
Oh, yeah.
That's probably
That's,
one of my favorite sayings of all time.
Football coach.
Is it Lombardi?
Yeah,
Maybe?
isn't
Okay.
that Lombardi?
I have no idea. Maybe.
It's, okay.
Somebody's probably yelling at the screen right now. It's fucking not Lombardi.
You dumbasses. Okay, well, let's pretend it's Lombardi because
Yeah.
that guy was the boss.
Yeah.
But hey, here's the thing. I think the key difference going this 100 days in a row,
Yeah.
now it's like 120 whatever. I like literally can't stop. It's so messed up.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it, but it's just like default ice bath. Here we go.
Because you've built habits, though.
That's just it.
And it's
So
now
like
your default.
the reward isn't what I ended up with. The reward is what it did to me.
Yeah.
And going on the Lombardi thing, if you think about it, people like say that quote all the time, but it doesn't mean shit till you actually realize you're living that way. Then you're like, whoa, I actually understand what he means now. Because before you're like, yeah, totally, rah rah rah.
But it's taking like when he says that, he has like such a high level articulate concept, and then you're just like seeing words and you're like, okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's
Apply.
like, it's you attaching your journey, I guess, to those words, sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So,
Totally.
yeah. And then I feel like personally over the last year, like a lot of like cliche sayings and infinite wisdom, kind of like you know, hard work and perseverance, like, but like
it's becoming the sexy thing
where,
now. Hey,
or it's something where like I feel like I've come to like truly understand a lot of them, or understand them. I shouldn't, maybe not truly, but in a deeper way, like really understand like some of those. I wish I had a good example, but
remember when self-awareness was like the hype?
Yeah.
When everyone's
like the word self-awareness.
Yeah, when everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you got to be self-aware," and it's like,
yeah,
I was one of those guys though too, where it's like you
Yeah.
don't realize what it's like until you're actually self-aware. Then you're like, "Holy shit, I see what they mean," right?
Yeah.
You're like, "Whoa."
Yeah, send me that checklist, bro.
Okay.
I'll get on it tomorrow.
And if you fuck it up, you got to restart.
That sounds
Like
good.
Now,
hold yourself accountable.
It's 100 days of workout.
I'll send you the checklist. It's like
Yeah, but I want to.
He wants to summarize. He wants to
Oh,
summarize
Jesus.
for everybody,
Yeah.
so they can join us in this 100.
Now, don't give
journey.
us specific. So it's 100 days of working out, no
It's
alcohol,
two lifts,
diet, and bedtime routine. To paint
no,
with broad strokes.
I brought in the like bedtime because I'm like, I've noticed
to fulfill the need.
The need
to be able to
well,
do
because
those
I'm
things.
starting to hit like I'm getting really close to like overtraining syndrome. I feel
Yeah.
because I'm like my lifts, and I'm hard gainer cells. Like I'm not a big bone dude, so my lifts are always increasing by like say 2 pounds, like 1 pound here, 1 pound there, a rep here, rep there, and then they kind of plateau to a point where I'm like, okay, stuff's going haywire. So I started getting like more sleep, and I found that was the only thing that kind of boosted it up.
Yeah.
And we're talking like the 9.5, 10 hour zone. And
Well, you know the solution, bro.
What's that?
You know the solution.
Juice.
Yes.
No.
It is time.
Hard work pays.
It is time
to
to
It's like,
leave humanity behind.
Oh
bro.
yeah.
you're getting old. Dude, look at my joints. They couldn't handle that. Like I would explode.
You have little joints, so that is the guys that look
win.
the best, dude.
Oh, what are you trying to say?
No, honestly, is that
You're like, I got a plug.
I got a plug. Yeah, I'm the plug, bro. No, I'm just kidding. My doctor's the plug. No, I'm just kidding. So summarize it for us, though. So
Oh my
workout,
gosh.
100 days in the morning.
I like track this on my spreadsheet, so let me just pull it up.
Okay.
It's just easier that way.
If you at home aren't realizing it, Philip over here is very type A.
Hey, but that's the thing. Okay, by doing this, I told everyone I was type A, but I wasn't actually doing the actions to fulfill that. But it does come easier to me to be super type A.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Progress photo, workout. I read 10 pages a day, just business book. But the key isn't just reading, like we were saying earlier. It's actually applying.
Right.
whatever that is.
Like actual reading, not just
Yeah.
skimming.
Yeah,
Right.
like pretend like it's a textbook in university. We actually have to know what's going on.
Mhm.
You have to actually be able to have a conversation about it and say in your own words.
Mhm.
Okay.
Gallon a day, but I've been accidentally doing 2.59 gallons a day because of measurement error. So I had to back that off. I'm at 1.8 something.
He's also
gallons.
retarded, but
Hey, but I laugh, but it's not funny.
Yeah, hey, don't use that word, Josh. This is a family podcast.
yeah, how many times he dropped the F-bomb today?
Well, I'm at 1.89
yeah.
gallons now. It's just massive calculation.
Holy
error.
shit, man! What did you say? 2.95 gallons?
Yeah, it was a lot.
That is like 12 liters of water a day.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, it
that's
was
like
okay.
the time Josh was on drugs. Water.
I will send you my spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you'll
yeah.
see where the error happened. Long story short, I was like, okay, 6 bottles a day, no big deal. That's a gallon.
Yeah.
So I was doing 6 bottles, but as while as at work, where my spreadsheet resides, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't counting the wake up and have a liter, work out and have a liter. After
Oh, God.
work, you have a liter from biking home.
Yeah.
That's 3 more right there.
Jesus.
That's 9 liters, right? It's like it adds up pretty quick.
Oof. I
Yeah.
hope you're taking in some salt to.
That's where, I was starting to get like the elastic line around your ankles from your socks,
Okay.
like water retention styles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
I was
Need
starting to get
some
like
salt.
mild headaches,
Yep.
bit of difficulty sleeping.
That
And it's
would
like
be it.
classic signs of too much water. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Too much water is if you get the sock.
Yeah.
things? Is that
And the
okay.
opposite if you get too little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a real thing. But anyway, so progress photo, workout, active reading, we'll call it minimum 10 pages a day.
Mm-hmm.
The water, the outdoor workout, do the hour, the diet, ice baths, do the meditation. So it's part of it too. And then I always do like 5 critical tasks, and I do another 5 that are towards goals. So in the 5, you don't have to do those, but I just do them just because it's like, so every day in the morning I pick 5 things that go towards my long-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like, it's 3 categories: health, wealth, and wise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in those, and then the other tasks are like shit that you have to get done.
Mm.
So eventually it's like, and if you mess up a single one of those, you have to restart the 100 days.
Whew.
And it's just crazy what it does to you, because eventually it's like the way you prioritize your life and the way that you act is like the way that you know you should be acting, that kind of thing. But anyway,
We're probably going to call this episode the
Yeah,
100-day
that's
challenge or something.
100-day challenge.
Yeah.
So then, once you finish the 100 days, then what?
you can't
You
stop.
hopefully
You
just
can't
start
stop.
in a better place, or
You're just
Oh.
a better overall human.
Oh,
just goes
for
forever.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There is no 100 days. It's the rest of your life, bro.
yeah. The life challenge.
yeah,
Yeah, until you start hitting like.
Am I-
100-year challenge.
Am I ready to become the person that I can be? Who knows? Find out next time on the Long
Yeah.
and Hard podcast.
Oh my
Next week.
god!